Prime Channel podcast.
Yeah,
Now,
so
when
which
you come
means-
over to my podcasts on my channel, it's a way better experience.
Yes, the K doesn't just stand for Keishan, it also stands for crap.
There you go. Way better experience.
Also, that was on stream.
Okay, we got something going on. I think we got. Why is it resetting? Go live. Okay, I think we're live. I see a live symbol. I see two watching. That would be you and me, right?
It should be.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It'd be nice
I think
if
this
YouTube
is.
had like a thing, like when it tells you you're okay, it's saying it's live now on my channel. Good.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another weekly manga podcast. Technical issues aside, because I'll never get over them. Anyway, but yeah, let's see. My co-host, Griever, say hi.
Hello.
Are you trying to seduce the audience?
A little bit. You know, my wife just got on a plane yesterday, so I'm already on the hunt.
Oh, and if she
Excuse
ever
me.
watches this, your ass is in the
Oh, she is not as nerdy as the rest of this community. I don't even know how I landed her. So
You hide it well, I guess.
no, I really don't. She bought me Yu-Gi-Oh cards for our anniversary, plus some comic books, so she knows what she got into. Yeah. And actually, I got Guy the Dragon Champion from the Legend of Blue Eyes set. I was over the moon, and she's like, "It's a piece of paper." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's an awesome piece of paper."
No, it's no different than anything else. It's as much value as you put on it.
Exactly.
But anyway,
So,
first series, while we were kind of getting into it at the beginning, before we started officially, is chapter 610, A Hoof Kingdom, and yeah.
Yeah, why don't we-
Shit
why don't
should
we-
have happened.
Okay. See, right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, Keishan and a longtime subscriber to, I believe, my channel, I think he anyways does, and Keishan's channel, Richard, and he's part of our Discord, and he's a great guy and everything.
He might
They are
be
both
watching now.
unhappy.
I don't know.
And he may or may not be watching right now. And I hope he is, because this section is usually all for him. So, they are very unhappy with the outcome of this chapter. I myself am not as unhappy as...
Then you're a fool.
Apparently I am a fool. So I will let Keishan, ladies and gentlemen. Keishan can tell you the facts of the chapter. The honest facts, what happened and why it pissed him off. And then I will go on to say why it did not piss me off as much. So Keishan, why don't you take it away?
It's kind of funny usually being the person that's more pissed off than others.
It's true. Usually I'm the one with an opinion stick up my ass so far. But this week I'm calm. I'm Zen Griever. Griever.
Basically, my big gripe is, you got Ohan. The man basically just came out of a coma, nearly, from the cusp of death, barely on this horse, just went back into battle as if seemingly it was nothing, though he himself is kind of acknowledged. It's like, yeah, I'm not quite here, and other people are aware. It's like, the man is barely, able to do anything. So it's like, what's about to happen shouldn't ever be possible. Because I figured, a couple weeks ago, that it would be maybe a Shin Ohan kind of matchup where they would tag team. What is his name? Gyo-un. And
Gyo-un. Yes.
I think that's actually probably the best I've ever pronounced the dude's name.
Good job.
Like, he's a little disabled with that right arm injury that he got a while back. So it was like, okay, I see the possibility of them together winning this fight. But for what ends up happening, Ohan, if you read the chapter, you find out he basically one-hitted the guy, and it was almost sheer luck. And I don't like it. Like, he basically misses, and then Ohan just kind of goes in, and then, bam, deflects his attack, and, like, he loses his horse, but he stabs right through the guy's chest, killing him. And I don't like it. Shouldn't have been that easy. You know?
Hey. Okay. All right. I can agree with the statements that have been said. However, I want to point out that in this Kingdom manga, for over 600 chapters, we have seen feats that are not possible by any human in reality.
It's
we have
more
seen
realistic than most other series.
I would argue Aoki. I would argue the crazy-ass giant thing that they fought in the throne room before they actually took over the kingdom.
Well, he's almost monster. Yeah. So, yeah.
I would argue the... I'm very bad with names, guys. I'm very bad with names. But the right hand of the Mountain Queen. I would argue him. He should have died 3 times in this manga by just blood loss alone.
Yeah, that jump.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So my thing is that though were this manga a more realistic standpoint up until now, and we had not seen these very separate Baggio, thank you, Richard. I'm probably saying that name wrong, but Baggio.
Yeah, I was adding another I in there too.
Yeah. His feats alone are superhuman. So for your first argument about Ohan, or Ohan, whatever, however you pronounce the name, getting back on his horse after surviving a coma and blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've seen Shin basically do the same thing. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility, as far as we have established for over 600 chapters, that these people run on adrenaline more often than not in battle. And the one shot, to me, remember, I look at this as, if you look at the strike, if you look at the way it took place, Gyeon beat him out, broke his horse's legs with the strength of his strike, and he didn't actually block it. He came down sweeping and was going to crush all opposing force. It's just that Ohan anticipated this to some degree and stabbed him on the way down. An action that Yeon did not anticipate. He didn't anticipate the second strike. You know, he anticipated the block. Like Ohan was basically throwing away his life. That entirely possibly could have cleaved him in two. He still would have gotten the stab in. It just so happens that it fell short. So this was more of a suicidal, I'll kill my killer attempt. It just paid off in a better way than anticipated. It was a gamble, and I think it worked out. Am I a little unhappy that it wasn't what you said, Keishan, last week? And I think you mentioned it here, about a Shin and Ohan working together to take him down?
That would have been cool, and plus it
would have been better,
considering they're both not in the best of conditions. Ohan
Agreed.
A lot more worse, but Shin really mentioned it, I think it was last chapter, that, like, you know, he could tell that something was wrong about himself.
True. And I'll give it to you. And Richard is even saying he agrees that Kingdom has never been really that realistic. But his death was very anticlimactic and didn't make sense from a narrative point of view because Hara has built up Gyeon to die by Shin hands. I don't think he built that up necessarily, because not every character can die to Shin. Because at the end of the point, what is the point in building up characters? It's a big problem in shonen, but this is not a shonen. Is that the main character does not always need to deliver the final blow. you can still have a main character who does not do all the work, who does not do all the stuff. So I would argue that point. And also, I wouldn't say this death was anticlimactic. I would say that it's more realistic. We have seen tons of lieutenants and generals in this series fall to simple attacks that would kill a regular person, because even though this manga sometimes, as I pointed out, it's a limited number of times where it's not realistic. For the most part, it becomes very realistic. To the point that, yes, a sword on your head will kill anybody. I don't care what type of high-ranking general you are. A sword to the chest kills a man.
Oh, I thought you said a sword on the head. And I was like,
oh, well, yeah. A sword slashed in the head, a sword to the chest, a sword to the,
I was picturing like their helmet has like a blade on it, and they use it as a weapon.
They could do.
What are you talking about? Because that's where my brain went.
They could do that too. Guillaume died too easily, in my opinion. Had Guillaume dodged, this is Richard talking. Had seen Guillaume dodge point blank, surprise attacks by full power. Yeah, but once again, as I said, I don't think he expected the attack. I think it was just a misstep on Guillaume's part, and as we know, even a master swordsman in real life and stuff can make a slip up. You can still slip up, and I think that he underestimated the new generation. See, he didn't underestimate people. Like, he didn't underestimate people he thought were worthy. He underestimated a weakened Ohan, and he paid the price. That to me is all that happened. And in war, the best fighter doesn't always make it out. To me, I'm not as upset by this loss. I'm not as upset by this death. I like the character. I don't think his death was anticlimactic. I thought it was built up pretty well, and the fact that he didn't die to Shin makes him a more interesting character as an end result, to me, anyways.
See, that's why I thought it would be a good thing. Okay, Shin kind of wears him down, and then Ohan finishes him off. So that it gives him the win, but then it made it more realistic to how this could work out in a positive way, because, as I stated numerous times, they're not in the condition to be able to take on some guy who, coming in still a very intimidating force, but he's got an injury and it doesn't even seem to really impede him. He's still going to come in and knock some heads, but no, he gets spear through chest. We will call it the sneaking dragon.
The sneaking dragon, okay.
Because Ohan's always got dragon this, dragon that, for all of his. It's the attack that shouldn't have happened.
Richard just mentioned something about he did kind of build him up to die by Shin's hands. That is what I would call misdirecting or red herring. I guarantee you that every single enemy of the Quinn Nation will disrespect Aoki to Shin's face. Doesn't mean Shin's going to kill them all. Just putting that out there. Like, just because a character. So if what's his name? Kishin,
I need information, or otherwise I can't help.
Sorry. If Roboku goes up to Shin tomorrow and says, I could have bested Aoki on the thing of war or something, does that give you the death sign that Shin has to be the one to kill Roboku? If Aosen says it, that I was a better general than Aoki, does that mean Shin has to kill Aosen? Like, just because you said something bad about a master does not mean that character necessarily loses to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember, this isn't cookie cutter shonen. This is seinen. This has more realistic tendencies. Revenge stories don't all work out. This isn't comic book. This is something with a more realistic tone and a more mature tone, and as a result, things don't always work out. The guy doesn't always save his girlfriend at the end of the day. People still die. People, that's the realistic portion of seinen manga, because it's for a more adult audience. So having Shin just come in and win, you might as well call him Saitama then. So I'm just not with that. So
Richard has a thing of, I don't want Shin to kill Roboku, but Hara has built it up. So, and he's come back again. Shin has stated many times that he will slay Roboku, but they already fought once in the past.
I mean, if Shin does kill Roboku, I'm not going to be upset. But what I'm saying is that the Kingdom is a manga that is separate from the cookie cutter shonen in the sense that it's not like One Piece is a fantastic manga, but Luffy's going to be the one to take out all the major villains. Shin in a seinen manga, Shin doesn't need to be the character to do that. That's the difference between shonen and seinen. If Shin starts doing that, then this might as well be called a shonen with blood. Because
there's still a fair amount of blood in other series.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that
you get
at the end of the day,
these levels where you literally just see people speared and half their heads are cut off, and
exactly. The point of fact is that you don't. The main character does not always need. Of course, they're built up to kill all the main bad guys because they're the main character. It doesn't mean that the side characters are useless. Look at Bleach. Bleach is a perfect example of this. They made their entire side cast useless because they never had any true major fights after the Soul Society arc. People criticize that. So if that becomes Kingdom's case and Shin ends up killing everybody, all the generals, all the lieutenants, all the opposition, then I would say it's even worse than Bleach because it's a seinen and it should be one step ahead of that. So I don't get the argument here. I think it's an argument that Shin should be Saitama and should be killing everybody by himself on his own. And any major antagonist who dies not by Shin's hands didn't die properly. Didn't die. It was bad buildup. And that's a ridiculous argument to me. That's just me. Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I don't.
There's some truth to that, I suppose. That's why I thought the team up would have been a good middle ground.
I agree. I think that I do agree that your vision for this Kishin, especially the last podcast of Shin and Ohan teaming up to victory, would have been ideal. It's not what we got, but I also think that Shin coming in to save the day would have been worse than this. Ohan falling, Shin coming up with the win would have been an even worse chapter, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, like Ohan's down on the ground and he's about to get his head cleaved off, and because crap, now I can't say his name. Gyo-un is too focused on Ohan, then that's when Shin comes in and is like and just ends him. That would have been kind of shit.
Worse. Yeah, that would have been worse than what we got. So I think this is more like a lesser of two evils. Is it ideal? No, but what's your alternative? Shin coming in to save the day once again? One Punch Man called. They want their One Punch Man back. So I'm just one slice man, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I love Shin as a character, and I think he should have as many tough battles and hard wins and stuff as he gets, but I don't think he should always be the one to always kill every single lieutenant and general on the goddamn battlefield. Other characters deserve to shine. So.
Also, Richard has I wanted Kyokai, Ohan, and Shin to 3v1, so please don't act like I wanted Shin to kill Gyohun. I can't get his name.
I just say what I feel like Hara was building up. Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree with that too. I'm just saying that I don't really see Hara building up that battle. I think it was more he was building it up to be a red herring. I see a red herring from a mile away with that. I really did. Because this whole arc, and especially this later half, has been about the Ausen Ohan story. Shin has basically been in the background and it appeared in chapters just to fight on the battlefield and kill fodder. And then he gets a major moment involving Ohan. like with the whole Han's down and he goes to the tent and blah, 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 and the rations and blah, blah, blah. He takes command. Okay, he's in charge. But that was all because of Han. So is it really just Shin's story? No, this arc has been very focused on Han and Aosen. Shin has been a staple, but not the main pull, shall we say. This has been...
He's a bit player more than he is the feature.
Exactly. He's another chess piece. He's not the king on the chessboard right now. He's just one of the multiple pawns to make the better story.
Oh, I agree with Richard. He says Kyokai needs more major kills.
Agreed.
She just needs more screen time, period. Because we haven't seen her in I forget how long.
Agreed. She's fantastic. There's another what I would consider a side character to Shin that just does not get enough screen time and enough kills. What if she had come in and killed Gyeong? I would have been cool with that. You know, I would have been fine with it. Just saying. So, anyways, do you have anything else to add to this chapter, Kishin? Because I think
I got my hate, all of that, what little there was, but it had to be said.
Yes, indeed. Why don't we move on to even, well, I don't know about you, but even what would be considered in the current fan community, even more hate with Seven Deadly Sins, 322.
Yes. I'll have to pull that one up. It's been a few
years. Yeah. And for ladies and gentlemen who are listening, we did, in fact, cover some of this in a surprise Boar's Hat podcast on Grim Reaper's channel. Go check that out. Unfortunately, it was very last minute, and I had to dip out in the first 20 or so minutes, so I didn't really get to say my piece very much. Keishan, did you manage to stay for most of it?
Yeah, a fair bit. I was there till the end.
All right.
Couldn't tell you everything that was said. Hardly anything, actually, because my memory is bad.
Well, there you go. So, at the end of 321, a lot of people, of course, were very pissed off with the sword stopper himself, right? Yeah. And then we get a poem from Escanor. Escanor's seeing everyone surprised. He's there blocking the Demon King's blade. No issue. He's not in the one form.
That was actually something people kept bringing up. I don't know if you were there still. And I didn't even think about it, but as I thought about it more, it made sense. The fact how he's using, like Escanor's spear, Escanor's sword, while he's not in the one, it's because he doesn't have a weapon on him right now. Rita is, for all intents and purposes, lost. So...
Well, I don't know if you were there for the first part thing, Keishan, because I did bring that up at the beginning of the podcast. And I brought up the fact that I have two theories, or two very quick theories, to explain away why he's using techniques that we have only seen in the one form, and to explain away the whole, as you pointed out, the Rita thing, is the fact that Rita was stated to actually absorb his power. Absorb the amount of heat and power of sunshine throughout the day. Which is why, even with Black Knight, he was able to go into like a 10 a.m. form in the Battle of Six.
She functioned as a backup battery for him.
Right, but not just a battery. She was absorbing power. So that, in a way, could, as I said, and I said this in the podcast, this is not because I'm an Escanor fanboy. This is just because I'm trying to rationalize what's happening here, is the fact that Rita was limiting his power as an end result of that. By taking away, let's say, 10-20% of his overall power consistently.
I saw what you're getting at now.
Yeah, it's like in an RPG, it's a curse weapon or a draining weapon. It drains the health, gives you a lot of strength, but it drains your health. In a similar respect, Rita was draining and limiting his power. and that's why he never really used it in the 1, because the 1 was just broken, right? Also, another possibility, and that would explain away why he's able to block the Demon King's sword and stuff with his hand alone, even at roughly 11:30 plus right now, very close to noontime, because he's no longer limited. His power is far greater than what we saw against Assault Mode Meliodas. You can rationalize that. The other thing is that potentially he is also using the 1 techniques outside of the 1, because he himself, Escanor, knew that he could always use these 1 techniques outside of the 1, but they're detrimental to his body and his life, and he knew it. He knew he had to wait for the 1 form to use these techniques because they were dangerous. At this point, he's throwing away his life. He does not care. Hence why he's going 100%.
Time to go all out, baby.
Right. So those are my 2 explanations. Personally, I agree with the first one because that's actual canon. Read the description of Rita on the Wikipedia. Go back to the chapters when they explain what Rita does. It literally absorbs the heat, sunshine, radiating off of his body constantly, meaning it's taking away his power. His power is heat. His power is sunshine. So it's constantly absorbing his power, and as you said, Keishan, using it as a battery in case thereof. But while it's not doing that, what's it doing? It's literally it's a limiter. So that's actual.
Functions very similar to Kenpachi's eye patch.
Right. That's exactly
I kept
perfect way to
think
say
of
it.
what a good example, and then I finally remembered. I was like, "Oh yeah, that was what the whole eye patch was about." It just doesn't store any power.
Exactly. It is literally the it's the eye patch of Kenpachi, and that, as I said, has been stated in the manga itself. Now, I believe that given the power scaling problems, we should have been told this chapter, like in a black and white, no headcanon involved, no reaching like I'm doing right now.
A little narration always
would help.
Up.
Exactly. So, do I agree that should be stated? Of course, but that's what I'm taking away. And also, Mile up here in the background. Oh, Mile, you fucking coward. I love Mile, but what a fucking coward. He says, it's no longer the Archangel's time to interfere. The world rests on you. Seven deadly sins. I leave the rest to you, Escanor. It's like, so you're telling me, Mile, because I think everyone in the community agrees, and I said this multiple times in this podcast, Mile in the 1 should be stronger than Escanor in the 1.
Should be. Basically, him at almost any point in the day should be stronger than Escanor.
Right. But for some reason, he can't fight the Demon King. Yet, we just saw Escanor fight the Demon King. And not only fight him, hold back something that Bond, King, and Meliodas weren't tanking. Escanor just went and tanked. So Mile is simply a coward, ladies and gentlemen. He is afraid. He's so afraid of losing his life that he's not willing to fight any battle that's not a sure victory.
Makes you wonder how he survived the Holy War. Because presumably he was fighting a lot.
I know. This is so
unconverted.
Right.
That is.
Yeah. I think this is so maybe if they had built upon this, like maybe if he had some PTSD from being Estarossa or something, and was unwilling to unleash his power or something for fear of the darkness or something, maybe like a traumatization that we had seen and been shown, maybe the epilogue chapters, the biggest waste of time in any manga history, could have been used to showcase this, then this would make so much more sense. We just need a chapter to show Mile afraid of himself. Then it would have made 100% sense. It's not about strength anymore. It's about willingness to fight. It's about willpower and courage that Mile is currently lacking due to the Estarossa trauma. That's all we needed. I mean, Keishan, you know as well as I do, we could read so much from just one page of panels showcasing something like that. just something to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, I even tried to, like, I can't remember if it was in my reaction or during that podcast of the Boar's Hat, trying to rationalize a way that even if Mal didn't take, like, the most active combat role, because apparently everyone seems to think, oh, he's just a close-range fighter. That's the reason why he doesn't want to fight, and it's like, well, then what the hell? Escanor is literally doing that. And we've seen Mal can use ranged attacks, so he couldn't perform, even if, you know, he doesn't have the one, he can still perform, you know, support or, you know, range support attacks, you know, by healing or attacking from a distance. So he has no excuses at all.
It's true. It's true. But to suffice it to say, at the end of the day, what does Escanor do? As you brought up before, Keishan, he goddamn well divine spear, the divine finger, the divine hand. I mean, it's just like
I'm waiting for a divine shield where it's just him holding up his palm and acting.
I'm waiting for divine dick. Like, Jesus Christ! Like, at this point, seriously. Like, you might as well, because you know.
Great sword.
The great sword. So divine great sword, Escanor. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the.
Are you impressed, Merlin?
Exactly. Like,
I will have to experiment to know for sure. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. Got a foot in the door. Oh, that's not the only foot you got. And it's like,
well, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the best part is that these techniques, once again, hold the weight, in my opinion, of the one form. As I said before, I think Escanor doesn't have a limiter anymore. He's going all out, blah, blah, blah. And these techniques are just as devastating in the one, maybe more devastating in the one form. But we're seeing them do heavy damage to the Demon King. They're not taking him out, but they're doing heavy damage. And he did 2, like, back-to-back, you know. And he took the hits, and he's bleeding. So he's not invincible right now, because he's not in the one, of course. But I was waiting, I think we talked about this before, I was waiting for a whole, like, oh, you know, I had to spank your children, Demon King. Do you need a spanking? You know, sort of idea as well. Because it's got the triple set. I mean, he slapped around all 3 children, give or take. So, I mean, it's daddy's time sort of idea, right? But I love that we didn't get that, but we still got the arrogance halfway through the chapter when he said, all right, now, please hurry, Captain Gother, before I accidentally end up killing the Demon King. Can you guys, like, hurry this up? Go save your brother? And it's like, you arrogant bastard. Like, that is what we were all waiting for. Don't tell me anybody wasn't hyped to hear Escanor say that. I don't give a shit about power scaling. Power scaling has been broken. Keishan and I have agreed upon this for months and months of chapters of 7 Millisecond.
That's why I don't even try to power scale.
Right, don't blame. I mean, it's just badass. Leave Escanor alone. People are using Escanor as a scapegoat to explain why they're dropping sins, and it's not fair, because shit like this has been happening since, well, during the Battle of Six alone. It's been 30 chapters since.
It's basically been happening since he was introduced. Because he doesn't even have that high of a power level of any kind, yet whenever he's involved, you know you're getting a W. So
it's true. I just want to quickly talk about the people in the chat, because we got Richard saying Gelda is a kinky freak. A lot of people have been... a lot of people... Yeah, she's a vampire. We'll talk about that at the end, Keisha, because a lot of people have been saying that, and I don't get it. I bet she gives some good head. I mean, she's a woman. I mean, if you're bad at giving head, you better be fucking pretty to look at, right?
But how does it work?
Can I say that? And my YouTube channel. Now, this is somebody from Grimm's and stuff, and I always forget my YouTube channel. Who is that? Is that Chub Sperm? Is that... I forget.
I don't think so.
But he says, God damn it, Griever, you pulled a Grimm. How did I pull a Grimm?
I pulled a Grimm. Worse after you gave me the ammo.
There you go. So give me context. Give me a quote, and then I will correct you.
Basically, when you just it's like the sword dick. That was.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, I'll agree to that. Yeah,
I just made it worse.
Yeah. Keishan, I might have opened the palm. Keishan fucking took it and ran with it. Okay, so I'm just saying.
I take your cookies, and then I go hide them elsewhere.
Yeah. No. I gave you a cookie, and you took the whole fucking cookie jar, and you just fucking ran. Bitch. Exactly. So, you need sugar. All right. So, what else we got here? So, So Escanor being himself, of course, being awesome, and then the Demon King like, "You'll accidentally kill me." What utter nonsense! Blah blah blah. Then Bond shows up and actually does something. Wow! It's like you already fought a Demon King who's supposedly stronger 30 chapters ago. Great on you, buddy. Good job. So they try to hold him back. We get King and stuff. Gother and Meliodas do use invasion. They jump into the spirit world. We get basically the explanation of the spirit world. Literally, what a waste of pages and dialogue. We get like so much dialogue, but all it does is explain the same thing that happened in chapter 300 on.
Yeah, I almost called bullshit because I was like, wait, what do you mean you can't fight in there? But then I started realizing, oh wait, they didn't really help him the last time, so I was like, okay.
It's the same when Gother entered Miles' world. He couldn't actually stop the commandments or anything, right?
It's like, we are just of the spirit realm. We cannot interact with this. It is not us.
So then we see a very spider-like webs holding Zeldris. We see Demon King. For anybody who doesn't believe, one above all, who doesn't believe that this is the Demon King wearing a Gelda skin. Watch Men in Black. How many reviews and podcasts?
That was the actual Gelda.
Okay, Grim. Okay.
And he didn't even realize that was like how she got outside of the body. And it was the biggest hilarious moment of that podcast because everyone was.
I missed that. I wish I was there. My wife was here. She's far more important than a podcast. I'm sorry.
Of course.
But I mean, only slightly, to be honest, because I think I would have traded in 5 minutes with her to listen to that part. That
was just like, wait, how's she outside? I just saw her inside of his mind, and it's like, Grim.
We all knew when she made the crazy zombie face. Like, I didn't even buy it before we saw the zombie face, Keisha. Did you buy it when, like, Zeldris we knew was taken over by the Demon King and Gelda showed up? We all knew that was the Demon King.
Well, like, maybe for a moment, but then some of the dialogue of, like, oh, don't worry, just stay here with me. And then I started thinking, this sounds more like a villain trying to not, make you do anything to escape.
I think the only ones who still believed, like, Grimm, apparently, I did not know that, so that's hilarious. The only other one was the one above all. He believed that was not Gelda, but it was just an illusion. It wasn't actually the Demon King. I'm like, dude, Demon King is basically whoring himself out to his son. Accept it, move on. It happened. It's gross. So, because nobody seems to have watched Men in Black, Keishan. Not a single person in the anime community has watched Men in Black. Because this is an Edgar suit. This is the bug in the Demon King being the same person wearing the farmer's suit. The Edgar suit. In this case, the Gelda suit. That's literally more sugar, exactly. In this case, more blood.
Still, the way that he did his jaw in that movie just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
It's true. So, at the end part of the chapter, of course, we see the outside of the battle. We see Gelda still surrounded by her sphere of darkness, so she doesn't die by the sun. Saying she felt a lot of power. We see Escanor going fisticuffs with the Demon King, and I'm like,
come on, let's have a bully fight.
Exactly, that mustache makes it.
I'm trying to get it back.
Okay, yeah, because Richard asked, what the fuck?
Is it back?
No, not yet. Oh, there we go. Apologies to everyone. Keishan's internet is Mine is not, however, so we will continue
Mm.
next week. No. We're gonna continue this. So because the end part of the chapter, which is what I left off on, was basically everyone's saying continue this. So because she's a vampire, right? So she basically, the blood went all over the place. So she picked it up, she licked it to tell the scent, and then she said, "I found you, Zell," because she realized, by taste that's Zeldris in there. So she followed the powers. She got there. She licked the blood. She's a goddamn vampire. It's not kinky. It's kinky if you're not a vampire and you start licking people's blood. That shit's weird. But if you're a goddamn vampire, it's not kinky. It's normal. It might as well be missionary style. It might as well be the most vanilla shit you can think of. Yeah. You can't find more vanilla porn than that for a vampire.
Vampires with blood. It's like,
right.
Oh, let's use it as lubricant.
It's like saying a werewolf has hair. I mean, werewolf and fur. It's part of it.
Like
a werewolf would go.
Hairy? Well, you haven't seen a werewolf woman.
Exactly. or even a werewolf that howls or something. A Frankenstein that doesn't grunt. Like, come on, guys. Like, Jesus, it's not kinky.
Monster.
Yeah, exactly. So, end of the day, that's what's happening. 323, apparently it's not happening yet, because this week was on break along with Shonen Jump and stuff. Yeah, and apparently I heard we're also not getting a chapter next week, so whenever the hell 323 comes out, I have no idea.
Well, dang. I didn't know there was a double no week.
It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed, but it's rumored. So, and that sucks for me because that's the biggest draw of my channel, right? Mm. So that really sucks for me. So pity party for me in the podcast. Everyone go subscribe and like more videos of mine. That being said, Keishan, any other thoughts? I think I said everything I want to say about it.
I think we covered most of everything. It just, I'm with you when it comes to the whole Gelda thing. It's like, she's a vampire. They usually do have heightened senses. So her smelling her lover and then be like, oh, he's nearby. Oh, wait, this random blood, they're vampires.
Back it out.
You drink it. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, I know this flavor.
I mean, if she was Batman, she'd fucking scan it with the bat scanner. If she was Wolverine, he'd sniff it. And that wouldn't be weird. That wouldn't be kinky. That would be their powers. Gelda's a vampire. It's her power. Why wouldn't she do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, Keishan, what else you got on the doctorate there, old boy?
Well, kind of try to keep it as quick as possible. Chainsaw Man. Chapter 33. We have Aki. He's in. We still don't have names for these two people. They have to be connected in some form or fashion because they both have these scars across their face, but not like an Iruka scar from Naruto. It's kind of more to one side or the other for each one, and it's the opposite for each one. So they don't even really mirror each other necessarily, and they're just kind of double checking to make sure if he really wants to get into the whole special division and all that kind of stuff because 20 people were killed in that, gun massacre a few chapters back. So it's you sure about this? You're not necessarily the strongest person. And it's we hate kind of these manga hero-esque types, that it don't go well. And
exactly.
So Aki just, he kind of waves it away. He's like, let me find his exact line. I also know that if it's not like this, I won't be able to do the things I need to do. So, that kind of sums up his motivation, kind of, in a, not so deep way. But he thanks them. They throw him a Coke. They're like, hey, we'll cheer you on. And you know. But just know, special division people ain't normal. So, and then it moves on. There's like, you remember the mafia people that were helping?
People that were helping which people?
Those two that were during the killings and such.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, we meet. I guess he was probably, you know how there was the grandfather. He was like the head boss kind of deal, the one that left all the zombies down in that basement.
Yeah.
Well, I assume this is possibly his son. That
sorry to interrupt, Keisha, but do we see any more of the actions, like what the plan with the zombie army thing is, or because we saw that
it doesn't go anywhere just yet. I assume maybe
okay.
The next chapter, because like it ends where you get reminder that the building where people are starting to gather around and head in for the operation that they're about to do with the special division, that's the building where the zombies are. That's where this chapter leads. But we do find out some interesting details about the gun demon, in a way.
Okay.
Is basically all the people that did all the shootings, they had to pay 20,000 yen, and then they got their gun and ammo.
Okay, wow.
Weird, I know.
Yes, indeed.
And Makima, she's the one who came to this guy at his little villa, and like trying to get information out of them. She finds out that much, but she wants more. It's like, I want you to tell me the names of everyone who signed a contract with the gun demon. Or devil. I always say demon. But I also want you to tell me of all the other mafia groups. And he's like, oh, Missy, I can't do that, you know. Necessary evils and all that. And it goes into this spiel of how the mafia is kind of like the buffer, or the Yakuza is the buffer of keeping foreigners out of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you would then have like the Chinese mafia, the Russian mafia taking in and filling that gap if the Yakuza wasn't there.
So, like a nuclear deterrent sort of idea.
So he's like, hey, I can't be the squealer in this operation, so I'll tell you my guys, but that's as far as we can go with this. And she's like, oh, is that so? Well, I have this paper bag. And you knew nothing good was going to be in that paper bag. It's like, well, take a look in this and tell me if you will agree to my terms. And he's like, what's in the bag? Because if it's money, it ain't going to work. And it's like, oh no, it's not money. It's something from the fathers, the mothers, the brothers, the sisters, the lovers of everyone in this room in your organization. And it's like, wait, what the fuck you got? Opens an eye, and it's a bag of eyeballs.
That's dirty.
I know. I love it. I just want to know what the fuck is wrong with this girl. Like, she has like these weird connections to things, and I don't get it. Like, she seems very powerful, but then it doesn't ever get explained.
I think this is a case of, it feels like to me anyways, I mean, maybe she will be super powerful, but I think this is a case of...
She basically kills somebody without hardly even touching them.
Well, I think this is a case of having like a Light Yagami or an L from Death Note in a world filled with not them, if that makes sense. Yeah, she's a master puppet master. Like, she's a master manipulator, a master intelligence. It's like, once again, you have people like you imagine if you had a Bleach with Kisuke Urahara, but no 12th Division captain and no Aizen. Kisuke would rule the world in the first 50 chapters. That'd be the end of it. You know, because there's nobody to match that level of intelligence. You know, you don't need to be the strongest if you can make the strongest do your work for you. You know, so that's the way I've been reading it a little bit. As I said, I drop the manga, and once in a while I do check out what's going on.
It's worth maybe once a month reading, the 3 to 4 chapters.
Yeah, usually what happens is like if I'm really bored, I'll go back. Like I read like 32 and 33, or I think 31 and 32. And I was like, okay, I kind of got the gist of what's going on. I skipped the last 5 chapters, but that's fine. I got the gist of it, and I'm just because I have mild interest in the series, but it's only mild. You know what I mean?
I wet your beak enough to keep your interest. Because I'll drop these weird-ass things, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. And
I knew you were skimming through, and then when you got to the eyeballs, like, your whole disposition changed.
I was like, oh.
I was like, yep.
Wait, what? Eyeballs?
Wait a minute. Which one of us would say or see it first?
Yeah. No, I as I said, I do try to skim along with when you're saying when you're talking about a different manga, just to make sure I like to see the art accompany the description a little bit. That's all.
But anyway, basically the rest of the chapter, like the next couple pages, is the special division now. They've surrounded this building where the zombies are, though they're not aware of the zombies, but they know that their main objective, I guess it would be the son of that Yakuza that they were talking to, and the girl that has the snake demon, or devil. They're in there. And, they're still wanting Denji, of course, but they want him dead. Still don't fully get why him specifically. It's probably some main character bullshit, as it always is.
He's the chainsaw man.
Well, hell, we literally have a sword devil man. So it looks more demon devil-like, but I don't know what the difference is. There has to be something special about him. Maybe it's because he willingly gave up himself, or subconsciously did. Because
remember, he didn't actually enter any contract or seek it out. That was an unwilling almost.
It wasn't even necessarily unwilling. He probably would have accepted it regardless.
He probably would have, but the fact is he didn't.
But Pochicha, or however you pronounce its name.
That's actually what... Yeah, that kind of ticked me off. I didn't like the fact that, I was cool with the whole chainsaw transformation, but then when it was like, oh, well, that little cute chainsaw dog's gone forever, I'm like, no.
It probably would have been better had it been, later on in the series that they did what they ended up doing. But say before that, he uses him like a chainsaw as normal, but then, when the shit starts hitting the fan, they fuse temporarily.
Right, a temporary fusion. That's what I thought was happening initially. When they did the crazy fusion, it would have been okay, they're super tuckered out, they can't move for a day or something crazy, some Gear Force shit. But I wanted that, the fact that dog is not...
The fact that it's in this dog anymore just makes it hurt.
Yeah, no, I was actually interested in it until... And then I realized after, chapter 2 or 3, I was like, that dog ain't coming back. Well...
Richard...
Because I like that character.
He says that we do get their names, those two people that I can't ever remember their names.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were never spoken, or if anything, it was once, and I didn't know that that's who they were, but whatever the case. And then also that it may be connected to Poochie because of the one demon from the apartment wanted him because he knew Poochie. That could be possible, but it seems like every demon Our devil wants him dead. What the hell does this dog do?
Well, maybe it's one of those. I would hate it because it would make it too like it's like the Chrono. Did you ever read Chrono Crusade? Chrono.
I've never even heard of that.
I think that's what it's called. Is it called Chrono Crusade with Kronos? It's got the nun character and shit. Anyways, it was an anime, and basically he was a super devil, but he's in chibi form, and they go and fight monsters and stuff. But when push came to shove, he transformed into ultimate adult Link assault mode. Sort of idea. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like one of the 7 princes of hell in the end, or something. So. He was like super tanked the whole time, So if it's one of those, maybe this dog is like royalty or some shit trapped in a dog form.
Maybe it was actually a lot more evil, like before it ever met Denji, and then it like rescinded, or not rescinded, but it made up for its evil ways, or was trying to, and then it reverted to this
like a Meliodas sort of idea.
Maybe.
Dark past idea.
I don't get.
I'd be okay with that.
What, or is it because it's like a weapon-like thing? I don't know. Like devils can be anything. So it seems kind of weird that you're just singling out this chainsaw, But
that's true.
I don't know. This story needs to go deeper into this because it keeps coming up, but never gets explained.
True, and at the end of the day, as you said, it's just a goddamn chainsaw. Like, what's the big deal?
I mean, if it was a missile launcher demon or a bomb demon or something, I could maybe, and it's like, we can't stand up to this thing. It's like, it's a chainsaw. I mean, you got a sword guy that's basically the same thing on your side, and it's like, he does a lot of damage. So.
It's true.
I don't know. The series, like, it keeps... I think I'm staying around just to find out more about that. And plus, I do enjoy the characters, and the art style is interesting, with its kind of sketchier style.
Yeah, you enjoy... that's the difference between you and me, as I said, because I'm very picky. We've said that before. Like, I'm super picky about my art style. And you've said yourself, like, you're more open to different art styles. Me, I'm just kind of like, nah... The story, like, as I said, I read up until about, I think, 10 chapters-ish, around then. And I was just like, the art style and the story is not... The story is okay, but it's not enough to hold me. It's like why I had to come back to Black Clover and, like, binge read, like, 50 chapters. Because I was just like, nope, ain't for me. So... Because I need a good art style. Like, what happened to, like, the art styles of people like Kubo? Like, Jesus Christ, can we get, like, an adult-looking goddamn art?
Can we get blank backgrounds and...
Yes! They make way more epic moments, Keishan.
You do know I'm joking.
I know. But the audience doesn't know that. Shh. The audience doesn't know that.
But anyway, I already discussed like how the chapter ends. It's kind of setting up where the zombies will probably be playing a role in another chapter or two. So I want to see what some of these special division are all about. They seem to be kind of hyped up the last few chapters, so maybe the zombies won't be that big of a threat.
Maybe not. No, we do not know.
But any series that you were got on?
So Akatsuki no Yona 179 came out.
Forgetting it came out. I need to start reading.
Yes. Yeah. Keisha needs to start reading this, ladies and gentlemen.
So many damn things to read. That's why I keep putting it off. But I think I did finally bookmark it.
Oh, well, that's a start. That's a start. I'll try to keep this one brief because I always feel like it takes a lot of time. Because it takes time because it's got the political side to it. It takes a little. But so I just say the very first part of the chapter basically states Lily and Ogi. Ogi for Keishan is Ogi is a information broker that's been around the series for a while. And Lily is the daughter of the Water Tribe, one of the 4 tribes of the kingdom. Friends with the main character. That's where it goes. So pretty much, he's basically saying that like a lot of information brokers have been paid to say, if you remember Kishin, maybe not, she's going to accept a deal from her father's killers, sort of idea, to protect herself, the kingdom, work together, blah blah blah. And the information brokers are basically said, because they just fought a small war, and the information brokers are being paid by an unknown party. We know what that unknown party is. But the unknown party is paying them to basically say Princess Yona was never an enemy or something. She was captured by the enemy nation the whole time, and they're going to return with her safe return along with the 4 dragons. They're spinning the political story, right?
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So that's like the first like 5-6 pages, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a little recap and that. So then we see the same advisor. So Yona has agreed to this deal, and we jump right away, and Yona's like us, right? And she's asking like, "Why am I dressed up like this?" Like, we're going to appear in front of the people of the castle town. They do not actually know your face, but they'll recognize you as a princess from far away with the red hair, and if you're dressed like one, sort of idea. So these are necessary things to say, because they're going to present her as a centerpiece, like a goddamn parade, right, when they return. So that all happens. We get a little bit of backstory. The advisor who like is the manipulator person. It's not much. It's not really relevant right now. So pretty much they open the doors. We get huge panel shots of everybody returning to the castle. Yona's there. The crowd's cheering. That's Princess Yona. She really has red hair. The legendary King Rihu reincarnation. The 4 dragons are here. Hail Princess Yona. And everyone's back. So Kisok is using this, of course, to his advantage. He's not happy about it, but it's his best course of action, right? To put her on their side. So, pretty much, what else? 4 dragons finally arrive at Hiri Castle, which is the main castle, and in the Sky Tribe, which is their main enemies, of course. They all step out. We get this beautiful pan shot, and this is the first time the 4 dragons have been here. And remember, Hiryu Castle also houses the shrine and the like sarcophagus of King Hiryu, who is loved by the dragon god, hence the 4 dragons, blah, blah, blah. Long backstory. Suffice it to say, the closer they are to the kingdom, the closer they are to the castle, not really the more powerful they become, but they don't get sick, their wounds heal easier, they take more battle damage, that kind of stuff, right? So they're stepping here the first time, except for Zeno, who's like 2,000 years old. And so they're all kind of in awe, and even says, one of the dragons says, "How strange, we are in the midst of enemy territory, yet my heart feels so at ease, my body feels light," all this stuff. Zeno's looking on very nostalgic, because remember, he was here 2,000 years ago. He helped build this place. So it's quite interesting. So they all step forth to go see the king. Now, of course, they block Hawk's entry, and everyone's like, "Wait, what?" And Hawk's like, "What are you playing at? No, I can't let you pass because you're going to point a blade at His Majesty. You might kill him, blah, blah, blah. I can't have that," because, of course, Hawk doesn't agree to this shit. He still wants to kill the god to everyone here, right? So Yona automatically, like, here's something, Keishan, that I need to bring up, and I promise to try to keep it brief, is I said in my review that words do not match the actions or the characteristics of the characters in this chapter. Because we have known these characters for 179 chapters. And these are monthly 179 chapters. So you could easily call that almost 300, right? And they are being very uncharacteristic. They're saying the right words, but their actions aren't meeting the same words. So here is where a lot of people are unhappy with this chapter. They're unhappy with the last one, Yona agreeing to the alliance, and everything subsequent in this chapter coming forth here with. The thing is that I believe that this is all like a plan on top of a plan. Like, this might be some Death Note level shit going down, where they are literally doing this to get intel. Like, they're basically being a spy, like, well, who's a greater spy than the spy that is the spy sort of idea, you know? They're doing that, like, 3-layered, that espionage shit. They're playing the part sort of idea to get as much information as they can, because I can't see this going any other way, because, okay, so Hawk gets barred, right? Yona basically says, we're in an alliance. This is kind of unbalanced, don't you think? And then Kisoku says, well, I can't let him through. He's going to try to kill His Majesty. And then the 4 dragons speak up, and they're like, we're dragons. Like, we're monsters. We could run wild at any time. If you say Hawk can't enter, we're not going to go in either. And I'm like, okay, this is in their character, right? So then Kisoku says, the dragons must come. And then all of a sudden, Yon, who's the only other character, he's not one of the dragons, but he's one of their companions, right? He's just the little medical boy. Well, I'll stay here with Hawk. I'll just wait right here. It's no problem. We'll wait together. And everyone just agrees. Like, wait a minute now. How does that make any sense? They said, if Hawk can't go, we're not going. One other of their companions decided to stay behind, still barred, and they all agree it's fine then. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying, Kishin? Like it's like if you and me, me, and a buddy were going up to a club or something. They said, okay, you two can enter, but your friend can't enter. And we're like, okay, well, we're not going then. We're not going to go in. We'll find another bar to go to, right?
Bars on this street.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so we agreed to that, right? Because we want to stick together, right? Mm-hmm. Then it's like you saying, oh, well, I'll stick behind with your buddy. Griever, you can go on ahead. And I go, yeah, fine, dude. See you later. See how that doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what happened here in this chapter. And it doesn't make any sense.
You all going at all at that
right
point.
And remember, they're in the, and this is even worse because this isn't them like going to a club. They're in the midst of enemy territory. Their whole thing is stick together because they think someone's going to try to kill at least, well, all of them if they have the chance, right?
And numbers are important when in that situation.
Exactly. They're powerful, but they're powerful together because they're all exceptional fighters. But if you start separating them, someone might get the drop on this guy and that guy. You know, it could happen, right? So, so they decide to move on. And it's like, wait, what? And then Yona, the princess, is said, okay, you'll have to see Your Majesty another day. And then we've cleared that up. You can go to your room. And she's like, no. It's like, if the dragons are going to go meet the king, they're, like, she doesn't say it this way, but, like, I found them. They're my dragons. I'm going with them. And they're like, well, we won't do anything to them, but they will see the Majesty. You have to, like, go rest and stuff. This is where the characterization, once again, gets a little weird. Because the dragons agree to this. They're like, Yona, you look a little pale. Zeno says, we'll be fine. We're all older than you. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Go to your room. So, not only is Hawk, her bodyguard, barred from going any further, like previously, to protect her, the dragons are willing. Remember, they're in the middle of enemy territory, Keishan. These are the people that in Chapter 1 tried to kill her. They're willing to send her off. In Chapter 1. They sent her off to her room with nobody. Not a single companion. Like, the 4 dragons said, yeah, we'll be fine. Don't worry about us, little miss. They left to go meet the king, who's, remember, against them. Hawk is barred at the gates, alone, or with their other companion. Yona is now in the literal lion's den by herself. This is where I think their characterization, this is the hugest problem, right? Now, to be fair, the general of the Sky Tribe, the leader of this whole thing, was not actually a part. He was okay. He turned a blind eye to the assassination, but he was not cool with Yona dying. And then we see in a panel right after this, when she has to go off on her own, she's accompanied by said general. And we saw him later on, or earlier in the series, basically like look down when he found out she was alive. He basically has an inner monologue, said, I never wished for your death. I always wished that you were living somewhere happy and peacefully and stuff. I would never have wished for you to die, sort of idea, because he still cares for the princess. He, like, regardless of the sins of the father, what he believes, he was her protector. He watched her grow up. He has no, like, he would defend her, sort of idea, right? He wouldn't allow that to happen. So there is that, but they're trusting a lot of faith. So this is where I think this is all subterfuge. Because they're giving, you know what I'm saying? They have been caution to the wind for 179 chapters. They've been avoiding meeting with anybody. They keep their hoods up. They put masks over their face, the sign of officials. They've been doing this for hundreds of chapters now. And now all of a sudden they're just like, yep, no, it's cool. We're in the lion's den. It's fine. Enemy territory. No big deal. Let's do it. Nah, leave the princess alone. It's not like anybody's going to try to kill her. For 179 chapters. But yeah, leave her enemies. You know? So that's what I'm saying. The espionage is here. It's a gamble. It's a risk. But I believe they have a plan that we haven't seen it. And in a few more chapters, I believe will like have a flashback where they're all huddled in temple, like, okay, here's our plan, you know, when it all comes to fruition. I have to believe that because this is so uncharacteristic of every safeguard they've done, you know. So suffice to say, the rest of the chapter goes on. They actually go to the throne room. They meet the king. Of course, it's Suwon. Suwon is insightful as hell. He's met the dragons before, of course, but not officially, sort of ideas. So start talking. He, of course, does not agree because he was not there. He doesn't think Kisok made a good decision to ally with Yona and the dragons. He thinks this is foolish. The Kisok's basically bringing up the fact that they're so useful on the battlefield. They're an army unto themselves. They're worshipped as gods by a lot of the clans. You know, and if they truly are these dragons, then this is their home, technically. They built it themselves, and their ancestors actually did. So, you know, so Suwon reads through this and he says, kind of get to the point. And the last part of the chapter is Kisok basically saying, let us hold a festival to celebrate the return of these dragons, to ignite the townspeople, and say we'll have them participate in the martial arts tournament. And so we're going to, basically, that's the end of the chapter. We're going to get a tournament arc, it sounds like. Whoa. I think an interrupted tournament arc, I believe. But still a tournament arc with the dragons. And I'm sitting there like, there are literally about 3 people in this entire series that can take on any one of those dragons hand to hand. So, and one of them you just barred from the castle. So,
so the interrupted fight seems more likely because otherwise it's going to be really short.
It's going to be really short, yeah, because like literally the only ones that could probably take on the dragons is who's the Thunder Beast, who's, you know,
it wouldn't surprise me if that turns out to be one chapter because it's a monthly.
It could be. It could be. I'm guessing 2. I'm guessing like the first half of the next chapter will be prep for the tournament. We'll see kind of the start of the tournament, and then the next chapter will be full tournament, and something will happen at the end. You know. But yeah, so we're starting a new arc. Remember, this is that kind of in between to start a new arc. The last couple chapters have been that we're winding down from the last arc. We're going into another arc. God knows where it's going. It's interesting though. I'm excited, but as I said, it's so uncharacteristic because a lot of people are mad, Keishan. A lot of people are very upset by the direction. It's like people in the Seven Deadly Sins community. You know, the power scaling sucks. The characters aren't being themselves, sort of idea. It's not the power scaling. In this case, it's the characters. They're being too lax. They're being too lenient. They're not being careful. They're being not themselves. They're not acting like them. So that's why I have to believe that this whole alliance thing is a bit of a facade, and they have a backup plan, so to speak. They're going to go along with the enemy's ideas and not fight it too hard to make them believe they're against these things, but go along with it just to gather enough intel, see what's going on, and then strike, sort of idea. That's my plan. That's what I have to hope, anyways. Because otherwise, they're just being stupid, and I can't believe that 6 characters who have been smart up till now are being idiots. So,
it happens.
It does happen. Maybe this is the bad turning point. But remember, the same chapter 300, like Shokugeki no Soma and 7 Deadly Sins, they haven't reached the milestone that is the 300 fail.
You can't let it die on a hill, can you?
Never. Chapter 300 will always be the bane of manga existence.
You'll dig the grave on that hill, and then when the series is over, you'll push it in the hole, bury it, and then the big old monument will be 300 was the downturn of everything. Fuck it all, it's over now. And then you place the stone.
Yeah, but basically, I'm like if you ever seen that movie, Jim Carrey's like 23. I'm basically the cover of that with 23 written all over his face. Basically, put my face there and just mix it with 300. That's basically everything isn't related to 23. And no, it's 300. 300 is this.
That, or I'm vaguely familiar.
There you go. So, 300 of all the problems. But that being the end of the chapter, it was still good, but they were uncharacteristic, and people are upset about it in the community. And I just think that we need to give them more time. So, before I get upset, before I get upset.
Yes, it all hinges on you, not anything else, just you.
Of course, duh. What do you think One Piece has been hinging on for 20 years? My approval is what keeps it.
What, the approval of what you would have been a child at the time when it came out. They weren't even aware of you, but no, everything hinged on you, Griever. And it's like, Oda was like, I'm praying to a white boy in China. Or, not China, Canada. My bad. Goddamn.
Yeah, a white boy in Canada.
It's like this series will prosper for many years to come. If he says it's bad, then I'm just going to burn everything.
Well, think about it this way, Keishan. Over 1 billion people pray to an old white guy with a beard. Why not pray to a white young guy with no beard? I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Oda was ahead of the times.
Yeah, they worship more the young guy with the beard.
Exactly. Anyway. Worship the young guy, because the old guy, he's gonna croak eventually. I mean, but the young guy, he's got some skills. He's got some.
Talking about Jesus, they already worship.
Oh yeah, but he still had a beard. He's still getting old. I mean, I can
get old when you die and resurrect. You've kind of broken the aging process.
Did anybody actually see him? Because maybe he was old as shit when he got brought back to life.
I don't know. Let's not make this religious. It's just I saw an opportunity for a joke.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyways, what series do you got on the chopping block?
You did a monthly? I'll do a monthly. Attack on Titan.
Oh, Attack on Titan. Yes, I did read this chapter. I didn't understand it fully.
Believe me, I don't think a lot of people did, myself included. I mean, I like that it explained a few things about the whole Titan transformation process. That was
good. Yeah, that was good.
Because of the founder and this world that it inhabits, or its power inhabits, like, time is moving at a much quicker pace than it is on the outside. In the soil, it was soil. It looks more like sand to me, but whatever. Is what makes the bodies. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. I mean, it's all magical mumbo jumbo, but, it works. It gets worse as the chapter goes on. It gets very confusing with I likened it to the Christmas Carol. Or a Christmas Carol. Because the whole going into the past bit. And it's like, no, Ebenezer Scrooge, we must continue on. Let's look into another memory of your past. That's what Zeke is at this point, is the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah, you're not really wrong. because that's literally. You're right. That's literally what he does, but it gets turned around on him.
Well, hell,
That's
I even likened him to what was Marley, Scrooge's partner, because of the chains that were around him earlier in the chapter.
Oh yeah, old man Marley, Jacob Marley.
So that's why I was like, okay, I know what I'm calling this chapter. You know, Attack on Christmas Carol, or Attack on Christmas. I might have accidentally called it.
That works too. Though I don't think it fits the season, Keishan, where it's like 90 degrees outside.
Hey, you've heard of Christmas in July. We can have Christmas in August.
Dude, we can, and I've had snow in June, but not August, and I live in fucking Canada. It's 90 degrees outside, dude.
We had a heat index of like, I think it was 107 yesterday.
Damn. See, we don't. See, that's the problem. Is that a quick thing? Is that if you ever look at the humidex, the number they give you, if you notice, they'll never actually say degrees or degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit, because when they add the humidex number into it, it's an estimated mathematical number, so they can tell you, okay, the temperature is 88 degrees Fahrenheit, but with the humidex, it'll feel like 100. They won't say 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They'll only say 100 because they can't actually tell you that it's Fahrenheit because it's not an accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
It's an interesting little thing that they'll never put that part because it's not a real temperature, so to speak. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyways, point is that yeah, it's fucking hot. There's no Christmas here. There's no Christmas here yet.
Anyway, I'm still kind of calling a little bullshit about the whole, like, oh, your head was still alive when we made contact. It's like, I know it only takes an instant, and it was like, that was how the chapter was basically translated, the title was. That it was just called Instant or something like thereof. But it still seems like, while you establish the connection, would you still have to keep it going? It's like a stream. If you don't have an internet connection, you can't keep it going. So, that's why, and people have been saying since like the head came off last chapter and everything, that it's like, oh, like it can still happen. Well, it did happen. I just still don't like how it happened.
Yeah, not a fan myself, to be perfectly honest with you. No, it's.
But that's how it's being facilitated, is because of how time works in that world, in the Founding Titans. So I guess whatever. It just annoys me. But there is some precedent for it, because like your head can stay alive for I forget, like mere seconds after you've been beheaded.
Actually, you can stay alive for longer apparently, but I forget what it was. Somebody discovered it was something like that though. You're right. It's a few seconds either way. It's in seconds. But someone discovered like the human mind is still active like X number of time after death, sort of idea. It still works. But that brings into the whole soul thing, which we're jumping into here in this chapter. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like the Harry Potter thing. You know, oh, he died. But he didn't die because heaven, and Dumbledore
it's like, it's not your time, Harry. Get your ass back down there and fight the bastard.
Well, to be fair, that is what he said. But I did always love the line, because this made it was more impactful in the book, but it made sense to me that basically Harry questioned. He's like, so is any of this right now real, or is this all happening in my head? And Dumbledore basically says to him, of course this is all happening in your head.
Okay. I think I got everything back on. And I think... are you back, Griever? don't even know if the things were alive. But can anyone hear me? See, the time continues to tick away. I really wish my internet wasn't this way. God damn it. Let's see. Try that. Oh, come on. Damn it. Why does this keep happening to me? Is it back? Is it? I don't know. Crud nuggets. Still saying I'm live. What about now? Is everything back? I swear, this fucking internet connection. So it's just lagging for you, Richard, huh? Oh boy. Okay. Well, everything seems to be relatively fine, other than that. Everything should be back to normal now. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. What is the next thing? Are you back, Griever?
Yep.
I disconnected again.
Oh, well,
it's back on right now, I think. I don't know.
I see the live.
Yeah.
Wait, it's loading.
Yeah.
Okay, live. Yeah. Okay, we are back according to YouTube.
Yeah. Richard was saying that it was lagging for him, so I don't know.
Eh?
But it was saying that it had good health, and now it's to yellow again. I don't know. I don't get it.
It has yellow for me all the time, dude. So it's
so it's not just me. Okay. Well, as long as you can at least see it and hear it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, there we go. So either way, you were saying Attack on Titan. Yeah. So basically, we jump into that soul world thing, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing that dream thing, and I like, as you said, I like the idea that they looked at the origin of the Titans and the original Titan and all this stuff, and Zeke is there, and this crazy. I just like the fact that he turned it around on him, because I really did think that Aaron was going to go with Zeke's plan, but then he double crossed the double crosser, and it was like, what?
Yeah, it was so damn back and forth. It was like, who's really in control by the end?
And I really liked who was right, though. That was like the morality of it. Also got to me. Did it get, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of gray area with who's actually
gray. I mean, it's basically causing genocide within a generation. Slow genocide.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying that, like, who is actually morally right? Like, you can argue for Aaron, but you can also argue for Zeke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as there's Titans, there's gonna be power struggles for them. And
well, it's the same. It's the same thing with a lot of. I can't think of the one right now, but one I can think of. I don't know if Vision. In Gundam Seed.
I really was a Gundam fan. Oh shit! Did it just die on me again?
Did it? Doesn't seem to.
It did. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wait. Is it? I don't...
I see.
I can't tell anymore. I'll get one thing that tells me it's bad, and then another thing that's not. I don't know.
I got 3 watching. I see live. I'm going to keep talking then. Suffice it to say, in that one, it was the same idea. It was a nuclear deterrent. Somebody wanted to end war forever sort of idea. Basically, by molding them, once again, a little bit of a communism sort of mix into it sort of idea. But we always get that in a lot of things. We get that even in the Keishan, if you can even hear me, in the... Okay, perfect. In the Avengers movies, in the MCU, we get that a little bit with the whole Ultron thing in Avengers: Age of Ultron and stuff like that. Like the whole idea, and in Avengers 1 with we're making Hydra weapons for a nuclear deterrent. We need deterrents to stop war. It's like you're creating war by creating weapons of war. It's like no, we're not. You don't understand, So it's that back and forth gray area where on paper it makes sense, but in practice it doesn't. You know what I mean? So
as soon as you make anything that fires some kind of projectile, it's a weapon. And it
exactly. And you have a weapon, even if it's not a weapon, even if it's a spy mechanic, then it's still doing the same idea. Like you're impeaching on people's privacy and stuff, and then there becomes the whole free will and free speech, and becomes a lot of shit,
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah. But what else did you think of the chapter? Because you didn't really get to talk about the later half, because the last few pages, that was okay. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just so confusing. It's hard to really peg down. I assume we'll maybe make more sense of it by next chapter. But what's kind of weird, which it's always kind of been a weird thing when it comes to like Titan users and how they have like these weird, like, I can send my memories to the past kind of deal. That
I never really liked that element of it, honestly. I don't even
know how it fucking works. I've never figured it out.
Yeah, so I don't like it.
I at least kind of understand like why Grisha is doing that. It's just the concept of how it's working I don't understand. Because he was like, Is that you, Zeke? But no, it can't be. You're an old man and got a beard. Are you Santa?
So now that implies that we're into a Terminator future loop where that always happened. He always got out of his chair, looked on, and saw Zeke standing there. So this was all pre-planned. Or did it? Did he change the future? Okay, well now we're into a multiverse theory. Like, it just gets... like, it's too convoluted. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, if that part of the series had been not included, I think things would be a bit more straightforward on that side of things.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? Did you ever see Days of Future Past, the X-Men movie?
Sadly, no.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, it wasn't a bad one. Unlike, like, Apocalypse and all that bullshit. But that one, basically, have you seen any X-Men movies?
I've seen all the way up to First Class.
Okay, so you know Kitty Pryde, the one who can, like, phase through walls. Okay. Basically, all of a sudden, she has the ability in Days of Future Past to send Wolverine back in time.
How the fuck does that work? What, is she phasing through the space-time continuum?
Make a theory, Keishan. Go ahead, because your guess is as good as anybody else that watched that movie.
Except because maybe the writers.
Yeah, they don't actually... See, they don't... The problem is not that they couldn't have tried to explain it, as you just tried in the first 5 seconds of hearing it. You're like, okay, what does she do? Is she phasing through time? Is that how she's doing it? It's like, okay, even if it's a bullshit explanation, it'd at least be an explanation. No, they don't explain it.
I mean, Marvel's done worse.
Marvel has done worse, but not this. This was pretty bad. This was pretty bad because the whole movie was pretty good, but that concept that Kitty Pryde was the one sending Wolverine back in time made no sense because they don't even bother try to sit back and go, okay, here's ABC. Even if we don't like ABC, it's like,
I forget what that one character is called.
but at least they attempted to explain ABC.
It's doing it again.
Oh Jesus!
Oh wait, is it coming back?
I don't see an issue yet. I see Richard saying Days of Future Past is my favorite. I don't know how it's your favorite, Richard, if you can still hear me. Because it's not a bad movie, but, like, we had Logan. And we had, like, Wolverine, like X-Men 2. So how the fuck Days of Future Past is your favorite is literally beyond me. But, and we had the Wolverine. That was a good one. The image got blurry, but it's still live. So
I guess that's a good thing about just being voices.
I suppose so. Imagine if we tried to do the video feed. Richard said, "I am ashamed of myself." You should be, good sir.
I like time travel plots, though. I feel like, what the hell is the name of that one character? He was in, he was the kid that was, like, from the 70s. I always forget his name. It's not Cable, but he was the one that was, like, he came to the future.
Bishop?
Yeah, Bishop, that's it.
Yeah, the big black guy.
Yeah, like, he was, real tech savvy and everything. If he had made a device that utilized Kitty's powers to face...
He's in the movie. He's in the movie, but he's not the one doing the time traveling.
No, I'm just saying, but that would have made a better reasoning to why her powers can do this. Because it's
exactly.
Because he's made devices that can send stuff through time, and it's like, okay, I'm connecting all this stuff to you, Kitty. Just phase like you normally do, and it'll project it onto this wall, and then Logan, you walk through that wall.
Yeah, and anything would have been better, but pretty much it was like an Xavier mind thing. While they stood over her while she held her hands, there was some silver aura.
His powers, like they're using his memories, and that's what they're walking into? Is that...
Yeah, well, Logan goes back to his past self from 1970, and he runs into the First Class era version of Xavier.
Richard says I'm talking about Forge, not Bishop.
Oh, you're talking about Forge. Okay.
I couldn't have...
But anyways, yeah, so the fact of the matter is that time travel plots are fine and everything, but we were kind of talking more about the mind power thing. And I just wish that, as you said, in Attack on Titan, that should have been better explained. Like, they need an explanation for that. If they don't give us one, then it's not that great. Like, like this sequence is cool, but it don't make sense.
Yeah, and like, then going
none of them do
in the series. If this ever comes up again, the question will still remain. And then if it's like, say, like X-Men, whatever, like say the fourth one in this series of movies, and like they want to bring that back, and we know about it, the fan base is going to hate it. Because you didn't explain it the first fucking time, why do I care to sit through it again?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Here with the Attack on Titan chapter, and with all subsequent versions of when they did this sort of idea, I just wish they had explained it more thoroughly. We've had so many explanations and history about the Titans. You would think they would explain this whole mental aspect to it, at least a little better. This whole soul work.
Like, I could understand if, say for instance, like all their minds are connected because of the Titan powers' origins, stems from the founder. That would make sense. But like being able to send them to the past, that doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
Like say our two families always kept transferring the Titans' powers to the next generation or whatever, and then the two families have shared memories. Like we can access memories, say because we're from two different countries.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just works that way. It's like, I know what's going on in Canada right now. Kind of deal.
Yeah.
That would make more sense because you're going forward with the memories, but going back, how are you sending it to someone who no longer exists? There's no point in that. You're sending information to the future, or otherwise you're just altering the timeline, but this isn't really time travel.
No, exactly. This is more mental soul world, like you can think of it as a whole. There's a second for real world sort of idea, but it's not time travel, as you point out. Richard also points out Days of Future Past comic had Kitty go back and... Oh no, did we die again?
Dream.
What we need for you, Keishan, is you need to go to AT&T. You tell them, you go, okay, here is my bit rate. Here's what I need. What are you going to do for me?
Well, it just totally disconnected. My computer just totally disconnected.
Yeah, that can't fly, man. I got a terabyte of fucking data running through this computer right now, and it's happy. It's a happy camper.
So that's my issue. Like if it has a little bit of a lull here and there, that wouldn't be so bad. I mean, we've kind of made the stream function that way. But as it were, when it just disconnects itself entirely, I don't know if it's my computer itself or not. Sometimes I question it.
Both.
But yeah. Anyway, enough of the angry Keishan ranting period of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any more thoughts on Attack on Titan?
No, I think I said my bit. What about you? Do you have anything to say about Zeke or Aaron?
I just hope it kind of clarifies things going forward, because this, it's interesting to see different viewpoints and whatnot, and seeing characters interact through this weird memory bit, but it irks me that they don't explain how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's just going to ultimately be like a more of a, oh, I now know the things of what's going to happen in the future. Gracia, for instance. It's like, I do horrible things, but hey, you're doing a good thing now, let's say, It's like my sons are working together. They're working towards a better positive goal, greater good kind of deal. I can, rest in peace, as it were. I don't know how else this could function, because it's like, we can get information from you. It doesn't matter. It's like there's no point in you getting information. It doesn't change anything.
No, exactly.
I don't know. I just want clarification on how that works and everything. But I could be saying that all day long, and it's not going to happen anymore.
Yep, exactly.
Also, a weird thing when we saw baby Aaron, I thought it was going to lead... I didn't know that was Aaron at first, because it's been leaked for a while, the final panel of the series, and it involves a baby. And I thought, holy shit, is this the last chapter?
Oh yeah, it totally could have been.
So, but yeah, that's about all I think I have to say, because this chapter has weird things that don't know where they're going. Plain and simple.
Yep, very true, very true.
But yeah, what's your next series on the docket?
Well, I don't really have any other chapters, I don't really think. I mean, Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest, I suppose.
Okay. I can't say for sure if I'm caught up completely, but I'm probably pretty close. Is it Lucy getting her new combo dress?
Yeah, her combo dress, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever.
To be honest, I love it. I love fusion as a concept in any given series.
Fusion's great, don't get me wrong.
It's weird how she's pulling it out of her ass, yes, but this is Fairy Tail.
Yeah, this is Fairy Tail. We have to always remember this is Fairy Tail. But personally, I mean, I thought it was like the chapter itself was okay, but really it boils down to they fight. What did you think, Keishan?
It's interesting. I'm still wrong.
An-
You obvious. Okay.
Another stream bites the dust.
Well, it's
Do
saying that it's reconnected. And it's still
another stream reconnects the dust. And another stream reconnects. And another stream reconnects. Another stream reconnects.
I think it's back.
Another stream reconnects the dust. If we are back, then yes. So, Gajil Natsu fight. It's okay. Mary Jane fights. It's okay. Lucy fights. Dress at the end. Like, there's really not a whole lot. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Once again, the art style is well replicated. I think you and I talked about that last time, Keisha.
I mean, if no one ever told me it was a different artist, I probably would never know. It's that good.
I would think it's that good a replica, but I would think that he was slacking in a similar way that we've talked about the difference between like a Sunken Rock, the artist for Dr. Stone and Sunken Rock, the same difference between a monthly release and a weekly release. I would say like, man, he's kind of slacking a little bit, just in the little minute details. Not so much in the character. The character designs are usually fine. But just that little lackluster in background and not the grandiose look at the spectacle of how Fairy Tales Guild looks, sort of. Like that level of art. Like no one will tell me that Mashima was not a fantastic artist. He's very good as a shonen mangaka, like as far as the art's concerned. So, in the same respect, I just think that I would have thought that it was slacking a little bit, if that makes sense, because we're not seeing that hardcore level of detail very often. Like, I can't think of the last time we saw something like the spectacle of the Fairy Tale Guild. Or something. Or like, here's the new town. Boom, 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 boom. And here's detail on top of detail that would make...
I guess I understand.
You know, yeah, like there's just that little bit of that. But the character designs and everything, oh yeah, like from panel to panel, you really wouldn't know the difference. You really wouldn't. And honestly, the first few chapters, I thought it was Mashima was doing the art.
I did too.
So,
it wasn't until, I'd say, a good 10 or so chapters in, or about halfway, I was like, wait, this isn't even the same guy? What?
Mm-hmm. I was a little quicker on the uptake, but I was still convinced for a number of chapters.
I'm just glad that I never live reacted to it, because I would have kept thinking it was the same guy and probably been like, oh, he still got it. Like, you know, and people would have been getting angry at me.
yeah, no shit, eh? So, I mean, at the end of the day, the chapter was good. I don't really have much more to say about it. I'm kind of happy at the direction it took here with the whole... It's basically like this whole 100-Year Quest thing is pretty much fan service to people who still stayed on the fairy tale bandwagon. You know? It's basically like, hey, we haven't seen Gajil and Natsu fight in a while. It's like what's happening in Sins right now. Oh, we haven't had an Escanor fight in a while. Let's let him be a prideful prick. You know? Same idea. You know? Like, build up...
I do like that this quest wasn't just dropped at the end of the series and then never
it was established. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's good that
I like that
we
too.
Got it in some form or fashion, even if it's not done by Mashima.
True. Now there are plot holes galore, of course, with the way it's happening, but still, at least it had some bearing. It had foreshadowing. I mean, it was there, you know. It was there. So, yeah, I agree. I just hope that it's not.
One thing that still irks me though is the
what's that?
That I'm gonna butcher his name. Gajil.
Gajil, yeah.
Why does he and Natsu still have their combined dragon modes?
Because once a dragon, I think this was explained before. Now, the Fairy Tail fans, all 5 of them, might correct me, but once you've taken on a mode, it's basically like a muscle memory. If you learn to access it again, once you've tasted it, you can bring it back out.
That doesn't make any sense, though.
Well, muscle memory sort of makes sense.
I meant, but they're creating a whole nother element that they don't have normally.
Yeah, but like for example, well, the power of a dragon and a human doesn't make sense, really. They're pulling out fire out of a human body. It's a human child.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be magic. I understand. That makes more sense, you know.
Okay, well, then it's magic that evolved. You know, like, have you ever, like, in a Final Fantasy game, you get fire that turns into Fyra, that turns into Firaga, you know? So, I mean, you could argue, as you said, that that's all still fire-based. However, I'm just saying that, like, a Final Fantasy character can learn Thunder, Blizzard, and Fire. Why can't a Dragon Slayer learn multiple versions of Dragon Slaying magic? And remember, it's still based, like, they're not using, like, you don't see Natsu using Lightning Dragon solely. It's got to be Flame Lightning Dragon mode. And Gajiel has to use Iron Shadow Dragon mode. They can't use Shadow moves or Lightning moves solely because that's not their skill. They can use a combined skill, but they can't use a soul skill, if that makes sense.
Actually, he does kind of use a pure shadow skill.
But it's Iron Dragon mode, which he uses. I mean,
he was whipping around like freaking Shadow Sneak from Pokemon.
but that's part of his Iron Dragon mode. What I'm saying is that no move like Natsu doesn't use a Loxus move. Put it that way. Even if he goes Lightning Dragon mode, and then that'll totally bullshit my entire argument.
He's like Lightning Rod.
Yeah, but until Natsu uses a Loxus only move, not based in fire at all, and you could make the argument that maybe not Iron Shadow, but Lightning Fire. You know, lightning causes fire, so pretty compatible.
That's what I was going to make a joke about the lightning rod. It's like, what? It's like, that doesn't make sense, Natsu. And it's like, it does. Lightning makes fire, and I'm fire.
Yeah, yeah. It's like people. Whereas I'm an electrician, people always ask me this. Said, well, if wood isn't a conductor, then why do lightning bolts strike trees? And I'm like, you think wood's not a conductor? Every single element on the face of the earth is a conductor. It's just the amount of resistance in them that makes them a bad conductor. Doesn't make them not a conductor. There's no such thing as a non-conducted element in this world. Every single thing. Mars is a conductor. The sun is a conductor. Lightning can strike.
Water isn't. It's actually the impurities in it.
Yes, but it's all the elements that make up water are all conductors. Like, you take any element on the periodic table, it's a conductor. It just matters the amount of resistance that passes through it. Like, basically the reason that, like, for example, wood, if you pass enough voltage through it, it doesn't make a good conductor because what happens to the wood? It splits, and it burns, and it catches fire. So it doesn't make a good conductor. It doesn't mean that the voltage, that the lightning won't go down the other end of the piece of wood. It just means that it'll break the wood before it gets there. Yeah. So, everything. That's why lightning, King of Lightning, shout out, that's the reason. Because lightning is the power. And I'm an electrician, so I'm biased, but
I hold the power in my hand every day.
I actually do. I held 347 volts, and that can kill a man. So it was fun. It was a good time. I hold death in my hands almost every day. It's kind of freaking when you think about it. You don't really think about it too often. Otherwise, you'd probably never go to work.
Yeah, just don't pull what was his name? Something Grimes from The Simpsons. The one that was really unlucky. And then at the end of his episode, he's like, well, I guess I can go grab these 2 high voltage wires, and I'll be fine because I'm Homer Simpson. And and he's
Yeah, yeah. Never do that, because put
Frank
it this way.
Grimes, that was his name.
You can basically put it this way. You can die potentially. It's not a guarantee. That's why people survive this. You can die by putting a butter knife in a receptacle.
You can die from a spark coming off of a little Christmas light.
You can. And the thing is, the maximum amount of voltage going through that is 110 volts.
Good Lord.
The high power lines coming across your house potentially have the potential for 14,400 volts. So yeah, don't grab those. Just
safe,
put it to
don't play under the power lines, kids.
Yeah. The lines going to your house from the pole are only 240, but the lines actually running from pole to pole, that could be anywhere from 8,000 volts all the way to 24,000 volts. Usually it's 14.4, but it could be higher, it could be lower. And either way, it won't kill you. It'll just burn you. It'll fry you. You'll die from third-degree burns. You won't be killed. It's the amperage that kills a man. It won't like destroy your heart or anything. It'll just burn you to death in seconds. You might as well jump in a thing of lava. You die fucking faster. You know. So, same idea. Don't grab the high power line, kids.
Scary stuff.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. My fault, Keishan. Why don't you move on to your chapter? Because that's it for me this week, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't. Oh, we do need to talk about the Valkyrie thing chapter, but why don't we do that at the end, Keishan? You do any other chapters you read this week?
Yeah, I'll keep it kind of short.
No problem.
To You, to the Immortal had 2 chapters, but they both just flowed right into each other. You have Kahaku. He's this guy that's been following Fushi for a while. He's actually the most recent successor of Attendance, technically. But Fushi has been most receptive to him because he's a mostly good guy. Where the whole line of successor things come into play is because they have what's known as a knocker, which is like the antithesis to Fushi in his army.
Okay.
And they've been passing the same one basically to the next generation for I think he's like the 7th or 8th person to have it. Well,
all right.
That's to kind of give you a little context to who this character is. But Fushi is basically like almost out of it. Like, he's been pushing himself real hard trying to fight this war, keeping everyone armed and fed and everything for, I think it's hardly been 2 weeks. So he's really learning his limits to what he's truly capable of, even though he's immortal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He still has some human-like limitations. Haru, no, damn it, I swear I never get the guy's name right again. Haku, whatever. Anyway, whatever. Knocker arm. Why can't I get his damn name right?
Don't worry, dude. You heard me pronounce kingdom names before, right?
Yes, but I try to be getting better with names, but whatever. Anyway, he basically killed the 3 immortal soldiers.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh, Fushi, I'm gonna make you a meal." It's like, there's blood on you, dude. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's not my blood."
Oh yeah, don't worry about this. This is fine. This is kosher. I'm good.
I still don't get it why he didn't fucking clean up first. He never did. He prepared a whole meal, and then they basically got revived, and they're all sitting at the table, and they're like, "Why did you do this? Why are you feeding us? What the hell's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, it's because I thought you needed time to reflect
Oh,
on
no.
your downfallings. And it's like, Hilo, he was protecting the church, but he's died numerous times, and it's putting a burden on Fushi. And then the whole thing with Mezar, like, he let the princess die, like the one person he cared most about. She died so easily because she went out of the castle and everything. And then, so that was a thing. And then, Kai, who was the guy that he killed, the first guy that he killed.
Right.
Or no, wait, he might have been the only one he killed. They all kind of died at different times because they were in different locations. But,
Right.
but they were all brought back at the same time. My bad.
Okay.
But Kai kept him held prisoner because of the knocker in his arm. Things have been getting a little kind of buggy. It's like, we don't really know whose team you're playing for anymore, dude. So I'm going to keep you here until we can kind of figure things out. And, well, the knocker just went crazy and killed him. And Fushi heard all of that because it was right upstairs. And, yeah, then that's when he came down, you know, the whole deal with the blood. And it's just, like, Fushi wants to rest. He says it. It's like, can I just rest? And it's like, oh, don't worry, I'll protect you. And then the knocker just starts blending his ass. So Fushi has now effectively died.
Well, that's terrible.
Because what the knockers do is they steal his forms that he's gathered. And when he loses all the sentient ones, he's gone.
Well,
So the immortal known as Fushi is now gone because his ass went through a knocker blender. But a mysterious person arrives in the form of March, which is one of his previous forms. She revived without Fushi knowing. It's because Bond still hasn't told him anything, which is a problem I have with his character.
So that's one of those Merlin type characters. Like, I'll tell you when you need to know.
That's basically like he said. Once this is all done, I'll tell you everything. But it still seems like something. The guy who is literally the linchpin of survival. I think they need to tell him that he can revive the dead.
Yeah, I would think that would be a necessity.
So, March, she comes in and it's like, don't you hurt my child, because she kind of imprinted on Fushi when they first met, because at that point he wasn't that intelligent, he couldn't talk or anything yet, and she's the one that basically started teaching him things. So she became his mother. And she's like, you won't hurt my child, and she's fighting. She's just like this little, 5-year-old kid fighting a grown-ass man with a demon arm, basically. So how well do you think that's going to work?
That's going to end very, very badly.
Well, she gets knocked across the room, as you suspect. And then Fushi's horse comes in. It helps a lot. It protects her. Yeah, the horse is made by the same guy that made Fushi. So it's basically Fushi in a way. It's not... I don't remember exactly how it was explained what the horse is all about. But it has the same source, I guess you could say. Well, anyway, anyway, Haku, as I'm going to start calling him from now on, starts to realize his mistake, and it's like, the arm is no longer our ally, because that was kind of the deal, because it could help them locate other knockers far away by communicating through, just writing things on the ground and whatnot. But at this point, he's finally come to the realization, and it's like, it's killing people. It just killed the guy that I've spent my whole life and my whole lineage serving, or trying to serve. This thing is evil. I'm cutting it off. He grabs a fucking butcher knife and just starts hacking his arm off.
Well, I mean, good on him for recognizing the issue at hand. I mean, I suppose, right?
Oh yeah, and Richard, he's the one that told me to just start calling him Haku. And
Okay.
he's saying Bon is best boy. It's one of his favorite characters, so that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, he's just trying to protect Fushi. I understand that, but Fushi may not view it that way at the end of the day. And that's
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, look.
Fushi has like gained a certain level of intelligence and everything to, because like at this point I couldn't even tell you how old.
Okay.
So he's got more life experience than most people, but like it took him a while to learn things, and there's still some naivete to him. So I don't think he'll take it well if he can somehow revive, which I don't think the series is going to end in just 107 chapters, because like he is the reason where the series gets its title from. So
Fair. Yeah.
so
Exactly.
so yeah. Anyway, the Knocker escapes,
Okay.
and it has all of Fushi's forms in it. They absorb the forms. So if they can kill it, he can get his forms back. And then he'll possibly revive.
Well, that sounds god fucking awful, Keishan.
And then March is like, I'm going to do it. I think Haku was going to go help, but she kind of denied it, and the horse is like, nay.
Nay.
It licked her and everything. It was cute. And so they're kind of teaming up to go chase down the Knocker. And I still don't know how she's going to do that, because she's a small child, unarmed, and there's no way to revive her now. So she's kind of fucked.
So
Fushi is over 100 years old.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
that's
He spent
that's
40
different
of
than
those
what I
years
thought.
on an island, because he thought that was the only way. So he didn't have to
Oh,
keep losing people.
So
this whole series,
he created a paradise sort of
no,
idea?
the Knockers kept coming for him.
Oh, never mind.
He started just turning them into jerky. After a while.
Gross.
Yeah. He can make food himself. That's not an issue. He has interesting powers.
Okay.
But, he was just kind of drawing them out just to make sure they were dead. So.
I see.
But anyway, Bond can kind of tell that something is amiss because the whole town has basically shut down. Like, the supply chains, the provisions, all that stuff are just not happening anymore. It's because Fushi was doing all of that. It's like, what's going on here? It's
right.
Like, he wouldn't do this again, would he? Because he blacked out and stuff before, and things stopped. But that was like an hour or so at best. This is like the whole thing is shutting down. And it's like,
wait a minute.
It couldn't be that he died. Could it?
Yeah, so he's worried that he might have died.
Yeah, because it's a big thing that's happened. So, yeah. But that was basically it. The final scene is just March, continuing her ride on Mr. Horsey, as she's calling him, because I don't think he was ever given an official name by Fushi. So, and, yeah, I want to see Gugu back, too. Gugu was a good fan of Fushi. He's the one that taught him a lot of things.
Okay.
Because he was like a jack of all trades kind of deal. Fushi couldn't cook for shit. But then Gugu, basically taught him the ropes, and now he can cook better.
Oh, I could whip that boy into shape with my cooking skills.
So, but yeah, that was basically those two chapters. It's a series I do recommend you to read. Sorry if I've spoiled you tremendously, but it's kind of how these discussions go.
Oh, it's always how these discussions go, and it's fine. It's
but
fine.
maybe it entices you because it's been a good series.
It does. It sounds very interesting. Did you ever actually send me a link to this one?
I
I know
can. I surely
Yeah,
can.
yeah. Just make sure because I'm very bad. It's like you say like, ah, damn, I forgot to bookmark that and blah blah blah. What was that name? So if you could link that to me, Keishan, that'd be great.
Oh, that's fine. I'm doing it right now.
Okay, perfect. I would definitely appreciate that, and if I have some time, things are kind of hectic right now. For those of you who don't know, I already told Keishan, but my wife was down last week, all of last week, and this week. That's why content on my channel has been a little lost. And hey, the loss of 2 subscribers. What the hell? I want to actually take a vacation with my wife, and all of a sudden, I lose you. I lose your interest. And hey, it's not my fault that Shonen Jump and 7 Other Sins and stuff ain't out. I would have brought you that content, wife here or no. Not my fault. Anyways, suffice it to say, also the reason we're doing this podcast, because I don't think we even say Keishan. The reason we're doing this podcast not on the usual Saturday on Keishan Prime's channel is because this weekend also is my one of my best friend's bachelor parties, and it's a weekend long thing at a buddy's place, barbecue, drinking, all that stuff. And I just figured I'm not going to get away long enough to do anything about that. So I figured we'd get a few of these chapters out of the way from the last week and this week sort of idea.
Or
That's
otherwise,
uploaded.
it'll just be so built up by that point.
We'd have a 5-hour podcast over it. And honestly, Keishan and I do not have 5 hours to spend talking to each other. Even
I mean, it would be
we
fun
get
if we had the time, but
exactly.
life don't work that way.
No, exactly. I mean, even Keisha and I get bored of listening to each other talk after 5 hours. I mean, Lord of the Rings is shorter than that. So,
Wait,
not actually. Well, Fellowship of the Ring is 5 hours 21 minutes or something. So close.
I thought you were talking about the whole franchise, and I was like, what?
No, the whole
That's like
franchise
9
is
hours at least.
with the extended edition, it's 14 hours long.
God damn.
Yeah, I love that shit. Anyways, yeah. So.
But yeah, I sent the link because
Oh,
Richard
thank you.
asked. He said he would send it if I didn't.
Oh, well, thank you to both of you very, very much. I appreciate it.
But yeah, it's a series. Once I got past the first chapter, because it was a little slow, it really picks up in a big way. But like early on, I was like, oh my god, does every friend die? Because that's a pattern you do see a lot.
Okay.
So be prepared to lose characters you grow attached to. And you grow attached to them quick.
No problem. As I said, I can't promise I'll catch up because it took me. I mean, how many podcasts did we do, Keisha, until I caught up to the one we're going to talk about here at the end, the Valkyrie one? It took me, must have been 2 months now, right?
That's only 2 chapters for it, so
yeah, but it took me 2 months to actually start reading the series properly. You know what I mean? So there is that little part of it, right?
Yeah.
So don't anybody listening to the podcast, don't expect me to be all caught up or have any insight anytime soon. Definitely not by the next podcast or two on this series. I'm just, this is my way and Keishan's way of kind of bringing other series to each other's put it on each other's radar sort of idea. And when we pick it up, and if we do get caught up, then we'll be able to talk about it.
Yep. It's not always so one-sided then.
Well, there you go.
But anyway, that was basically those chapters. I mean, they were pretty straightforward. It's still a little ambiguous to if Fushi's really dead. I mean, as long as they can find the knocker, he's fine, but that thing was booking it.
Booking it. That's going to be our word of the podcast.
Basically, you remember the thing that Majin Buu was sealed up in?
Yeah,
Picture that,
cocoon
but
looking
with
thing.
little shuckle tentacles coming off of it, and it's about the size of a basketball. Or maybe not even a basketball, say a grapefruit or a little bigger.
Keishan, why are you describing the causes of gonorrhea to the audience? That is what happens to your testicles, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have no idea what gonorrhea does. But
Don't want to know.
I don't want to know either, thankfully.
You'll know something's going down there. That's all that matters.
Yeah, thankfully. And for those of you who don't believe, here's a little tidbit. At the end of the day,
kids.
Yeah, put a coat on it, and when you're like me, when you actually found the girl, and you know that she won't cheat on you,
get tested every 3 months.
You're free sailing after that. I haven't worn a condom in fucking 10 years, and it's fantastic. And you know why? You don't need to get checked no more. His wife don't cheat on me. I don't cheat on her. We're both clean. Bam! Smooth sailing anytime. It works beautifully.
This podcast has gone in weird.
No, the trick is the Catholics had something right. The whole no sex before marriage thing. The idea was, and then don't cheat on your wife after marriage either. Then there's no chances of STDs ever in your history.
I don't even know if they had STDs at that point.
Maybe not. I mean, I know a lot of them came over when they started doing the slavery thing, but I don't know. Either way, point is now they're calling them STIs. So I don't know.
I don't get that. Why change it? It didn't change.
Oh, actually, that's a change. I hate change, Keishan. Like, I'm still mad about the whole changing the term of gay because I was raised on the Hobbit and a bunch of like old English books since my father's British, and gay was always the term for happy. So when they started stealing that to mean homosexual, I was a little miffed. People think I'm an asshole when I get miffed about that. But suffice it to say, no, I'm not actually mad about the STD to STI. You know why? Because the difference between a disease and an infection is an infection can be cured. A disease is something that can be managed. So since multiple STDs were later found to be curable, hence STD doesn't make sense anymore. It's just a wrong term because they're not diseases, they're infections, and actually more than half of them can be cured. Not all of them, of course. You got the big ones that can, but most of the time, a lot of them are categorized as STIs. That's the reason, anyways. So there, kids, you've not only had a manga recap, you've not only had a lesson about electricity, you've also had a rule about safe sex.
Still put a coat on it, kids.
Yeah, follow Keishan's advice, not mine. For all I know, my wife's cheating on me with a cabana boy. She's not, but I mean, it's entirely possible nonetheless.
When they're not in sight, you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. There's that little known thing called trust that, it has kind of died in my generation, but it's this crazy thing, and most people don't have it, so. But assuming that your wife and or girlfriend or anything like that, assuming you don't trust them and you don't trust yourself, put a rubber on. I trust me.
You can only... When you can't trust yourself, that's when there's problems.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I gotta ask all the audience out there. If you also don't trust your girlfriend or wife, why are you with her?
You can be
because
like that whore Tiffany.
You could be like that whore Tiffany, that goddamn Tiffany.
You want to know the joke behind that?
Oh.
It was a gardening hoe.
Really?
Yes, it was a Minecraft Let's Play I was watching.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I was gonna watch your Stardew thing because I thought it was something about Stardew, and I was like, okay, I know what he's doing. He's playing a Stardew. I was gonna. Oh, damn! Really?
Yep.
I totally missed that. Oh man, fuck me.
That's what happens when you start naming your diamond hose. Named it Tiffany, and then they threw it away, and then it was like, oh, Tiffany's dead, and it's like, nope, had her all along, and then they still gave her a funeral.
Oh, ain't that? But she's still a damn hoe.
Yep, always will be a hoe, but that's not wrong in this context.
Yeah, I actually saw some Raya online comment on that for the first time in 3 months. So,
But
yeah, where's she been at, anyways?
just doing what she always does.
She's like me. When it started getting away from Seven Deadly Sins and more into One Punch Man, she's kind of like, nah.
Yeah, we were watching a Minecraft Let's Play together, but now that Rabbit's gone, it's hard to watch stuff. Though Cast, which I do recommend you at least signing up and making an account, because it is getting better. It's actually functional now. It's not super functional, but it's more than it was before.
Right.
But
would you? So what you're telling me is that I need to make a Minecraft Let's Play for you and Soraya to watch.
I mean, if you want to, we may watch it. Yes.
Absolutely, because I got to showcase my Pokemon world.
I mean, I plan on doing it myself.
There you go. We can watch each other's.
Because I've been watching like Jacksepticeye play it, for his first time and everything, and other people have been playing it, and I've been getting into like old videos and stuff, which is where the Ho Tiffany came from, and all that, and it's like been good. Really makes me want to play the game. I've had it since March, and I don't really play it, but it's because I didn't know what to do, but I found some techniques and stuff, and I was like, okay, I could do some stuff. And Soraya and I have been talking about doing a stream series that I was going to call like the Misadventures of SNK, where we just do random shit.
Didn't Grim want like that too? I've been hearing a lot of the about people do more Minecraft stuff, and I'm sitting in the back like, I've been working on my Minecraft world for 9 years. You people won't take that from me. So
believe me, mine ain't gonna be great.
Yeah, but my problem is all my shit's on the PS4 or the PS3, which is the only uninteractable one. So
all figures.
Yeah. So either way, I'll probably upload it eventually. But that being said, is there any other chapters for you, Keishan, before we get to...
I got Beastars, because Richard even reminded me to talk about it.
Okay.
Basically,
talk about some Beastars.
Where it left off, Legosi was at the tattoo parlor. We do get to see his tattoo. It is just a date, 7/15.
Ooh, so we got some Full Metal Alchemist shit going on here.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, alright.
No, wait, it's 7/5, my bad. I think I was looking.
Well, whatever. Still a date, still off.
It's actually within a month within their time. Because there was a thing called Deep Night that happened in June. And it only
Wait a minute.
What?
Where did he get this tattoo again?
He got it at that tattoo parlor where he was eavesdropping on the sloth tattoo artist.
Yes, but where on his body?
On like basically his shoulder bicep kind of area.
Okay, because I thought he was copying me because my wife's birthday is on my... So I was a little bit like, okay, are you copying me? Are you copying me? So I'm just making sure nobody's copying my style. Anyways, continue.
But yeah, the koala that gave him the tattoo doesn't... He's kind of like learning. It's like, I wonder if it's his birthday. Who tattoos their own birthday on their arm for one? Richard, we were talking about it, and he's like, maybe it is his mother's birthday or something. Or, because we just had that big thing with his mom and everything, and it would make sense. Or it could be maybe the day she died. Or something. There's some significance here. I even threw out that maybe it's Haru's birthday, but even then that seems kind of weird. But I don't know.
That would be a bit of a stretch, I would think. I mean, maybe he's creepy.
But there has to be some form of significance.
Significant, right. Yeah.
Richard's throwing out the idea of it's the date that his mother committed suicide, not like the funeral, per se.
Nobody would ever put the date of their suicide on the goddamn thing.
That would be a weird one.
That would be Like, is this character? Just let me ask you: is he emo and morbid as shit?
Not really.
Well, then
He's
there you
pretty
go.
carefree. To be honest, he's a little dull at times. Like, he's
Okay.
become more lively, but like he's probably the most like steadfast in personality. Like, he's a good guy. You could be friends with him, no problem.
Well, then let me tell you right now, there's no way that's the date of his mother's suicide because only an emo guy with 3 different colors in his hair and eyeliner and looks like a Green Day reject would ever consider doing something like that.
And
Just putting it out there.
but there is a translator note that says that it was for a Wednesday. So that's very specific because why would you need to know what day of the week it was? So there is something to this number, this date.
It could be maybe we're supposed to look up all the Wednesdays of every year prior in our calendar to make a connection to some special date that nobody's going to look up on Wikipedia, Keishan. Bam!
Maybe, but
Theory
I doubt
time.
it. Anyway, he continues to go over the information that he's been gathering about Melon, from the tattoo artist's delayed, conversation. But it's led him to the sea. And he takes a moment, just sitting in the sand. It's like, Melon was here. I wonder what was on his mind while he was sitting here. And the whole thing of how, the carnivore herbivore thing is kind of making him messed up. And how usually hybrids can be viewed as freaks and everything. And his mother was a hybrid. So, So he's seeing that, and it's like they're just having complicated lives. And maybe, like, it brought him a little peace looking at the sea or something. Who knows what went through his mind. And he just knows that untold suffering kind of happens to hybrids. Or a good deal of it. But he doesn't know if he's evil or not. Let's just say by the end of this chapter, yes, he thinks he's evil. I believe me, I probably would have come to that conclusion long before now. Yes, Richard, he's a weird pup. I will agree with you on that one. He's a little too forgiving about a lot of things. But anyway, while he's on the beach, he started thinking about, like, what comes to his own mind when he looks at the sea. And he thinks, oh, maybe this would be a good dating location for Haru. Or bring in the boys, his old roommates from school. They're a bunch of canines, so playing in the water would be a thing that they would do. Or bringing some of his... not roommates, but they're like his condo mates, the ones who live in the seedy condo that he's now residing in. One of them is a seal, and like maybe I could bring him onto a boat and he could talk about his home one day, and we can bring Sebon or Sebon, who is a sheep. And
we don't want to bring a sheep to a room full of carnivores.
She lives right next door to one. Like, half the people in that condo are carnivores.
Fair enough. I do concede that point there, Kishan Prime.
Anyway, he starts thinking, it's like, boy, I'm an optimist. And then he starts on, when did I become one? It's like, he thinks he's been enjoying his 18 years of living. Or if he's actually been enjoying them.
Or has he been enjoying them?
But due to, like, all the people that he's met, it's like, it's really made him appreciative and everything. It's like, yes, I imagine I would be, and I have been enjoying it. And it's because the people I've met along the way. And he just continues to stare at the sea. And then he gets shot in the ear.
Wait, what?
This is the second time he's been shot in about a week.
Why is this dude keep getting shot?
It's because he's an idiot.
Wait, no. He's just walking along and gets shot. How does that make him an idiot?
Because it was Melon. Melon knew all along that he was being followed. And he led him to this isolated location to finish him off.
Okay, that's just dark.
And he brought the gang of lions with him. Because he took over I always forget I think it's the Shishigumo, or Gumi. They're the group that Lewis used to be the head of.
Is it pronounced Shinsengumi?
No.
Okay. Just checking, because that's a very Meiji Restoration thing.
Oh. Well, maybe there's an allusion to it. I don't know. But,
okay. That's just something. That's just a Japanese reference. Anyways, it might be wrong, Keishan.
It's fine. Well, anyway, Melon views himself as like a tragic hero.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he might have been referring to Lugosi in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of the wording kind of throws me occasionally. But Lugosi starts realizing, is this a trap?
Wow! Go figure!
Like I said, he it's hard to know what is going to his mind sometimes, but yeah, and then you just got Melon. He's just kind of like showing how he fed these lines to the sloth just to lure Lugosi there. It's like, I'm lonely. It's like, it feels like it's raining every day. I'm so lonesome.
Creepy.
And then it's like, hey kid, could you be the one animal who understands me? And yeah. He eventually just kind of laughs away from all of this. He's just constantly laughing. He's very Joker-like in this whole exchange, to me anyway. Lugosi finally realizes, yep, evil does exist.
Oh, go figure.
And then Melon's just like, well, you treated me really nicely.
You tried. It's fine.
And it's like, boys, finish him off.
Yeah. Which would be the appropriate response in that case.
Now, this brings up something that will occur that kind of bugs me. Because Melon mentions that hybrids have, like, heightened senses. Maybe just one. Like, Lugosi has a really strong sense of smell and taste.
Yep.
This is actually how he identified the school murderer. So,
oh, okay.
And then that's how he tracked down Melon, of course. So, Melon apparently, presumably, has hearing because he could tell that Lugosi was following him. And Lugosi was a good ways behind him the whole time. Well, he walks off, like there were some rocks on the beach when he told the gang to finish Lugosi off. Well, they start, like, this is kind of crazy. Like, we don't think this is the way the gang should be going. Like, things have gone kind of downhill since Lewis hasn't been leading us. And, we were kind of told to eat you, but we're going to maybe take you out a different way. Going to give you the death that us cats hate the most. A watery one.
Ooh.
So they give him the old concrete shoes.
Ugh, that doesn't sound good.
But they're still kind of like, it's just this whole thing. Like, you can kind of see the seeds of them maybe turning around. But I'm thinking that Melon might overhear them. And then that's when it's possibly going to be the death of them all.
Well, goddamn.
And that's kind of how the chapter ended.
Sounds pretty intense, honestly, Keishan. That sounds way more intense than, like, Chainsaw Man.
this week.
Some of the chapters can be. I mean,
Yeah.
The whole thing with the murderer, that was a big thing. It was a slow build-up, and then it got violent. And then there's Lugosi getting shot. It seems like it wasn't even 10 chapters ago that he was shot the first time.
Right,
So,
right.
The boy, he's going to have lead poisoning by the end of the series, I feel.
Apparently he will. Jesus.
It's just so damn sad. It's like, I know it's good that he's this way, because he's a nice, caring, forgiving kind of person, but you need to have some defense mechanism against the crazy people that don't give a shit about you and are going to kill you.
Just a wee one. Just a wee one,
Yeah,
you know.
It just, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, Melon is probably one of the best parts of the series, villain-wise. So it's, I mean, there's not been too many villains in the series. There's been like 2 major ones. There's been a few antagonists here and there, but they weren't really villains. But, yeah. Also, this is just another scar on Lugosi's body. He has, I think we tallied up 4, maybe 5.
That's a lot of scars.
And that's only been within a year.
Jesus Christ.
And they ain't good scars either. I mean, he'll have a hole in his ear probably after this.
Like, no cool badass Yamcha scars going on there, is it?
And I think you've seen, like, his head scars.
Yeah.
Those are from the fight with the killer.
Ugh.
So.
Yeah.
And then he'll have his other gunshot wound. And he's got another wound, but I won't spoil that for you.
Okay.
It was from one of the lesser antagonists. But how it was done was...
one of those.
It was done in front of so many people.
Ugh.
Like I said, when I first started reading this series, I didn't know what to expect. But I'm glad I kept reading.
Gave you a lot more intensity than you thought it ever would.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it started off with the murder mystery, basically. Within the first 5 pages, someone's dead.
And then you're like, okay, who done it?
Yes.
And then it's...
And that was a problem I had with the series going forward for a good long bit, is that it doesn't get addressed that much. You would think, why don't we hear every so often? Because it happening at a school, so you would think, oh, maybe we'd see a cop here or there in the background, you know, doing the investigation, but it never seemed to happen. And then Lugosi got involved in it. And so forth and so on, and now we have where we are now. It's a series, man, that I do hope you'll get to eventually.
I hope to as well. Like, it took me a long number of years to get to a lot of said. I didn't pick up One Piece until, goddamn, we must have been into Enies Lobby 1 or 7.
I am not lying, Richard.
What was that?
I said I tried not to like give away too many things, but I'm trying to entice him. The series, it can go from like 0 to 60.
Also remember, ladies and gentlemen, chat, remember that I'm also spoiling Keishan for 179 chapters of Akatsuki no Yona, which is a series he does not read. So remember that I'm talking about events and basically giving away the entire plot. It does not mean that Keishan will not one day pick up that series and read it for himself. It's the same with this series. It's the same with any series.
And you can still enjoy things. I mean, hell, I spoiled the hell out of, it was Naruto.
Yeah. There's oh, you know what's a better example? My wife has seen a lot of MCU movies, but she hasn't seen them all. a vast majority of them, and she never saw them in a proper order. So you know what we did? We rewatched all of Phase 2 while she was here.
Oh.
I've seen Phase 2.
Sounds like a fun movie now.
It was. I've seen Winter Soldier 3 times. I've seen Avengers 2 5 times. I've seen Ant-Man twice. I've seen, like, Guardians of the Galaxy must be 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Did I not, was I sitting there on the couch going, oh my god, babe, can we skip this fucking one? No. You know why? Because it was a goddamn good movie. What is wrong with rewatch value? Just because you know what's going to happen. I've watched every single MCU movie. Just because I know what's going to happen at the end of Endgame does not mean I don't appreciate Iron Man. Like, what the hell? I don't understand why people get like that. If I'm spoiled by webcomic spoilers for One Punch Man tomorrow, though I don't really care for One Punch Man, so it doesn't really bother me.
It was a good chapter, though.
It was okay. Yeah, it was fine. I mean, gluttony aside, because, once again, everyone hates on me for this, but gluttony is the most disgusting sin, and we saw oodles of that, so
that
fuck
was
that
the
shit.
first half of the chapter.
Yeah, so fuck that chapter. Fuck One Punch Man.
Oh.
Like, just fuck the whole thing.
I still like our boy Albino Saber, as I call him.
There you go.
Well, we didn't get a name for her.
True. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. But we're not here to... Well, I suppose we could kind of talk about One Punch Man, but why...
We kind of already were. I mean,
yeah.
I don't see the disciples being able to do anything against evil natural water.
Okay, here's the deal. The disciples can't beat a Zelda Water Temple boss. And
it is the Water Temple. It ain't the boss.
It is literally the Water Temple. And the water Morpheus, Morphosis, whatever. Great Bay Temple, Great Lake Bed Temple, fucking Water Temple. Take your pick of Zelda Water Temple bosses. This guy is the Water Temple boss. He's not very original. To me, anyways. As someone who grew up in the 90s. And at the end of the day, disciples can't win. And they do need an S-Class hero to show up.
I think they just need to get the fuck out of there and close the vault.
Yeah, that too. That would work. And the entirety of the gluttony versus gluttony thing, you know what? It was cool when Full Metal Alchemist did it. That's where gluttony ended its high note. Every character afterwards, not interested, ladies and gentlemen. It's done in 2004. 2019.
But now we have a thing called Vor. And that's about what this chapter was. At least that part of it.
Now, you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Keishan Prime's channel, so let Keishan Prime praise One Punch Man, but this chapter, why do I give a shit? Water Temple boss versus a bunch of samurai who aren't samurai, and goddamn gluttony exposed from 2004 versus 2004 remake, and 2004 Brotherhood comes in. Don't care.
I mean, that
Don't care.
Sums it up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
There's not much to add. It was just an interesting chapter.
Interesting. I will give you that word. I will give you interesting.
Like, I wasn't sure exactly what was going to show up. I mean, sure, it was called Cadres. So, and there was only 2 left, so that meant Gums and Evil Natural Water. Didn't know how it was going to happen, you know.
True.
I didn't think Gums could frickin' stretch and eat Pig God like that, so that was something.
I always thought that Gums would be like a snake-like persona, be able to
unhinge them gums.
Yeah, I mean that's his literal thing, and I'm like, the snake is the greatest eater of all time, the human one. I'm surprised he's not more snake-like, like a Voldemort meets fucking Jafar from Aladdin. Well, yeah, like they can open their mouth, but whales don't unhinge their jaws to swallow more. Like, you ever seen a blue whale eat something bigger than a blue whale? No, but I've seen a snake eat a bird 3 times the size of the snake. You know, so that's what I'm saying. That's like the definition of gluttony, eating more than you can chew.
You can even physically should be able to.
Right, exactly. It's literally the old adage of biting off more than you can chew. That's literally gluttony's definition. So, like, a blue whale sucking up half an ocean, who gives a fuck? The blue whales fucking could swallow a T-Rex and not even think it was a morsel. You know, blue whale's fucking huge. But a snake that size, like, you know, that's what I'm saying. So the whole unhinging jaw thing, it defines gluttony. So anyway, I thought the whole first half of the chapter was absolutely disgusting. And everybody hates on me for some reason. Have you seen my stream, Keishan? Everyone hates on me for hating on gluttony, like gluttonous things.
Well, I'm a fat person, so you must hate me too.
I don't hate fat people.
Well, I think that's what people have kind of gotten from you, is that you just hate fat people.
I know, and I correct
extremes thereof, but it's kind of like
True.
boiled down.
I mean, I brought this up multiple times during the stream when people brought this up, and I said there was nothing wrong. I mean, overweight and stuff like that, and being fat and stuff. I'm like, that's fine. I'm talking about gluttony. Not every fat person stuffs their face, gets full, pukes it up, and then eats more. I'm talking literally, and I know, like, my friend's a skinny guy. He weighs about the same size I do. He eats more than people that are 400 pounds. He should not. That is gluttony.
That's what you call a metabolism.
Yeah.
Metabolism.
Yes, he's got a crazy metabolism, but it doesn't mean what he's doing is any less disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about eating a lot. Like, my wife has a bigger stomach than I do. She feels self-conscious about that because she eats more than her man. I'm like, I feel self-conscious. I got a small stomach. Don't feel bad because you don't eat, if you eat less or more than me, you know, because I got a small stomach. I know that. But my wife also doesn't eat until she pukes. You know, so that's the definition. It's not about eating more. It's not about the amount you eat. It's about eating until you're full and then continue eating just because you can. Just because you want to. Just because you crave food. You're like, if you could be satisfied with a lunch, right? If you could be satisfied with a fries and a club sandwich, and you're good, and you're full, and you're like, I can survive till supper time, but you choose to have that milkshake and that goddamn piece of chocolate cake, that's gluttony.
Oh, I've had moments like that, but it's because I'm just a very hungry person.
There you go. But still, that's, as you just pointed out, that's a moment of gluttony. I've had my moments of gluttony. I've eaten so many goddamn pieces of sushi in one sitting that I felt like I was going to puke. I've had my moments of gluttony. The thing is, to be a glutton is to do it consistently. Like, you eat a supper, and then you eat a second supper. Then you eat a third supper. Why? Are you hungry? No. You just want to eat. You want to eat because you can.
I mean, I sometimes have eaten out of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
But not like
Yeah.
large amounts or anything. Just more snackish kind of stuff.
Which is fair. I mean, I've eaten when I'm bored. You know. And it happens. But I think people are misconstruing the idea that I hate people that are bigger, fatter, anything like that. It's like,
just
no.
know that this was a thing.
Yeah, it What were you saying, Keishan?
No, I was basically finished.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, like, a lot of people took it, I guess, the wrong way to say that, because I think people misinterpret what gluttony truly is, and that's what I've been spending my time here for the last, 5-10 minutes, trying to explain the difference between eating and gluttony, and like a big stomach and a small stomach. Like, Keishan, if you and I went to a restaurant, I guarantee you, even if you were way less than me, you would eat more than me. I have a very small stomach. People who eat more than me are not gluttons. People who eat twice as much as me are not gluttons. People who eat 3 times as much as me are not gluttons. Gluttony is not defined by the amount. It's defined by the You know,
Just
as I
know
said.
that I kind of find that sweet spot when I go to a restaurant and I find something that I know will fill me up. That's what I'm always getting.
Perfect. Now, my question to you is, once you've eaten that dish, Keisha, and once you're full, right? You're like, I am satisfied. Do you order another plate of food?
A few times
Like,
at the buffet.
Okay, buffet is a little bit different.
Because there's sometimes it's like certain foods, like you feel like you can just eat them constantly. But usually after 3 plates, I'm done.
Okay, so, and even outside of a buffet, let's say we go to a steakhouse or something, right? We got our appetizers, we had our salads, and then we eat like a huge rack of ribs or a steak dinner or something like that, right? And you're totally full. Are you going to order? I'm not talking ordering dessert. I'm talking, are you going to order another steak?
Oh, another 3-course meal, huh?
Yeah. Like, you going to order that?
Maybe
like
to go.
That's yeah, maybe to go. Sure, because eat it for later. I've done the same thing. You know, because I was like, damn, this is a damn fine steak. I'll take another steak. I have 3 bites of it, and I'm like, yeah, give me a package container. You know, I want to take this home and eat it later. But my point is that people will sit there. Like, my buddy sat here and ate an 8-piece fucking family meal of KFC. Fries, gravy, the 2 salads, the whole bit in one sitting. He sat there and ate a family meal of chicken. That is gluttony. He was full after 3 pieces of chicken. He kept eating. That's the idea. That is what gluttony is. It's not about being fat or not fat. It's not about having a big stomach or a small stomach. It's about after you're done eating, you continue to eat just because you can, just because you won't throw up afterward. Hell, half the time they do throw up. It's like a hot dog eating contest. That's gluttony. You're not eating those hot dogs because you're hungry. You're dunking hot dog and bun in water. Disgusting. Just to slide down as many hot dogs, as many minutes as you can. That's gluttony definition 1. That's what I'm saying. Those people aren't hungry.
Yeah.
They're doing this for sport. They're doing it not to feed themselves, not because they want to eat these hot dogs covered in or dunked in milk or whatever these days. Who wants to eat a hot dog in water and milk?
All I can say is this podcast has gone into some interesting directions.
There we go. We're talking about gluttony, ladies and gentlemen. And that is my fault, actually, Keishan. What else we got on the manga thing? Because that's enough of that.
Really, a big thing that I read was Fire Force. It had a decent chapter. Basically, okay, you remember that one character, Gold? And how she's like manipulating the gold, and it's like, how the hell is it working? It finally gets explained. It's basically, and you might know this because you were talking about conductive materials and all that kind of stuff earlier on. Gold does not conduct heat necessarily like other materials.
Okay. I mean, technically speaking, where it has it has a higher melting point than a lot of things. But, yeah, okay,
well, it was kind of the way they were explaining it. And then they're giving it magnetism, which is another thing that it doesn't necessarily accept like other metals. I might have added the heat bit by accident.
Okay. Because gold melts. Gold it has a high heat point, but it also melts very easily. Hence what I told you, I think last week, Ishan, about 24 karat gold. You could crush it with your fingers.
Yeah, it's a soft metal.
It's very, very soft. But that makes it malleable. You can mold it very, very easily.
That's why it's always jewelry.
Yeah, and this actually makes a lot more sense when you think about it, because she's Fire Force, hence fire. She can melt gold easily and meld it to whatever she wants very easily and quickly without a lot of effort.
Like I said, she's basically giving it magnetism, though.
That's true, too. but I'm just saying that
Didn't fully
potentially.
make a lot of sense to me, but so basically she's Why can't I say it? Magneto-ing it up all over this place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bullets and stuff they're firing, she's controlling them, going all over the place. The weapons they're using, she's using against them. All that stuff. And they've basically got one fighter who actually has a flame ability, and they're kind of wondering if she can really do it. It's Tamaki, the fire cat girl. You've probably seen her before.
Yeah.
We also last chapter we found out that Vulcan had made some gadgets for her. They're handmade boosters. They boost their flame abilities.
Okay.
And she has basically she calls it a Nekomata fireball. Because of the two-tailed demon cat. That's what her form is based on, because she has the two tails. And it was pretty early on in her appearance in the series, she did a fireball. Well, now with the boosters, she can do an extra large fireball.
Okay.
And that's basically what she does, but it does nothing. And now she's kind of being her weird misfortune and everything is gonna come into play, I'm sure. Her belt almost got taken off by the magnetism. This girl gets naked or nearly naked almost every time you see her. It's weird. So she's being attacked, but her pants eventually come off, and they're just like, how's this gonna work? Then they're like, nope, we'll stand fast with you. So they all take their pants off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they liken it to the nude calendar that they all do, which is kind of funny. But then they get some help from a girl named Lisa. She is Vulcan's essentially his girlfriend. She uses her fire ability. What the hell are you doing? I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Just gotta clean out something here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Anyway, she has an ability called fishing fire. Basically, it makes tentacles on her lower half. So she's kind of like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, but with fire limbs.
All right. Cool.
And yeah, she's not taking it anymore. It's like, hey, Captain Obi, he welcomed me even though I was a threat to them not that long ago. So I'm going to help rescue him. And yeah, and they're just kind of coming up with a plan to neutralize essentially what Gold is doing. And that's when Lech is going to come into play. They're like, hey, you got a plan? He's like, I'm the science investigator. Of course I do. Kind of deal. So
who do you think I am?
And he used to not be so friendly with them either. So it's always been weird how they gain former villains or antagonists into the series, but I guess every series does it. And yeah, the last standalone series I have is Way of the House Husband. It was a cute little one where Tatsu makes those storyboards that people make for when they go for story time, so that if the book doesn't have pictures or anything, or if you're just doing a from your own mind story, and you'll have visuals for the kids. Well, he did that for the what's it called? The Peach Boy myth.
Okay, yeah.
And he was doing it, and he basically turned it into a modern day mafia story, and he's telling this to kids.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't go well. I mean, he spent
No.
all night doing the storyboards and everything, and he's creepy when he presents them. The kids are kind of a little confused, and it's just kind of funny. Because, like, the terms he's using are stuff that the Yakuza would use, so the kids are like, what are they talking about? And he's subbing in, like, people that he knows as some of the characters, himself being Momotaru. So, you know, they go to the demon realm and everything, and gonna go cut their pinkies off as retribution. And then that's when the women who are running the bookstore, they start to realize, oh god, this is going in a direction the kids don't need to hear. Shut him up! And he's like, wait, I didn't finish it. This was only book 1 of 6. So, yeah, that's kind of how that went. And, yeah. That was basically what I read. There was a couple other series that I was going to read, but I didn't have time for them because they're longer series, and I wasn't sure exactly where I left off on some of them. Monthly releases, you know, they are that way. But yeah, if you would like to get into the Record of Ragnarok or excuse me, Shumatsu no Valkyrie, feel free.
Sure, why don't we get into it? So, Keishan, did you manage to catch up during this podcast, or
I couldn't have focused that well.
Okay,
I do well to focus to try and refresh myself, but I only made it to page 32 of the first part.
Well,
but feel free to spoil. It doesn't matter.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I already spoiled Keishan Prime, and I feel bad about it.
We gotta win for the humans.
Yep. And honestly, I don't want to talk that long about it, because I already sidetracked this all about my thoughts on gluttony. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. I thought this is supposed to be a short one. Jesus, fuck. Keishan, you have to learn, like my wife, to cut me off. Like, I talk way too much.
Fun.
I know, but, like, it's your stream too, man. Like, and anyways.
Well, that's why I try to be as quick as I can, but sometimes I ramble.
You know me, Ramble King over here. Might as well be called, hey, we got the Cringe King on YouTube with Teching. I might as well be the Ramble King on YouTube. Anyways, point of fact is, going to keep this brief, because I don't want to spoil Keishan. Art was amazing. Love this guy. Win for the humans. Poseidon, suck it, Donnie. Fucking suck it, Donnie, because this guy just killed your ass. And I still am salty about Adam losing to Zeus. I think that was bullshit.
As the sea?
Oh, I was saltier than any goddamn come up with, Keishan. So, suffice it to say, this was a really good chapter. It was a very long chapter. In fact, the reason that Keishan is not caught up is because it had to be split into, I believe, 2 parts. It might have been 3, but I think it was
at least 2 parts.
Yeah, 2 parts, because they couldn't upload as many high-quality images in one chapter. So they took, I think it was like a like half-a-day break, and then they uploaded the rest of it. So, fortunately, I got to read the whole thing. Keishan thought that was the end of the chapter, but it was actually just a really long fucking chapter.
I figured it would, come out, say, maybe a week later or something, or it would just be the next monthly release. So
yeah, but it actually came out the same day, or like maybe like depending on time zones. But it came out, and by the time I read it, it was fully there. So you just clicked over, you read the note. Man, I've been prepping a roast in the oven. I just took out the compost.
That explains what you've been doing.
Oh, I've been cooking a 5-course meal here, dude.
I didn't explain it. I said that explains what you were doing.
Ah, there you go. Well, that explains
it. Might be back.
Okay, because that also explains. That's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? I'm bitching about gluttony, and I'm cooking a 5-course meal.
Well, I mean, that's different. You're not eating the whole thing in one sitting by yourself.
There you go. See, hear me yet? Keishan Prime. He understands what gluttony truly is. I'm not going to sit here.
I probably live on the edge of it. I think I know.
There you go. There you go. See, I'm not going to eat this whole roast dinner. That's going to
over a
fill
course of a week.
Probably less than that, honestly, because the bachelor party, I'm actually cooking half the roast to bring over and slice some sandwiches and, make some baguette sandwiches sort of idea. Toast up the fresh roast beef, that kind of shit.
Man, I need to get a plane ticket, don't I?
There you go. There you go. Come to the bachelor party,
Your friends would be like, "Who is this fuck?"
Dude, we're bringing... Hey, you know what? There's a guy from, my buddy's work coming that nobody knows. It's totally fine. And so... You get a plane ticket. You can come this weekend.
Isn't a problem, huh?
No, it's really not.
At least one person knows who the hell they are, right?
One question, Keishan. Do you drink at all?
No.
Would you drink?
Depends on what it is, and probably not much.
It's beer. Just beer out of a keg.
I'd have to drink some kind of liquor, if anything, because beer is just piss water to me.
Okay, well, we have liquor. Don't give me a full bar.
I like the taste of Fireball.
Okay, we got Fireball. We definitely have Fireball. So, as long as you drink something, because the deal is, to go to the bachelor party, you got to put in $50 because it's a whole weekend. We're covering food, drink, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying, right? So, but yeah, Halifax, Nova Scotia, buddy. You come here by the Friday, you can come to the bachelor party.
It ain't going to happen, but it sounds fun.
Oh,
I wish you the best. Don't get
all right.
arrested.
Well, note everybody, I extended the invitation to my buddy Keishan.
There was no way I'd be able to make it.
Hey, you know what? That is a total lie, because when I was unable to go to the States because of bullshit reasons in Toronto, my wife literally got on the next plane from LA to come literally to Toronto, and then we flew back together to Halifax in the same day. It was expensive, but you can make it happen.
That would
you can always make
me the hell out.
Oh, it was the worst day of my life. I called a bunch of names to the border police. None of them that I can actually say on the stream.
I bet you'll be glad when both of you are living in the same country.
Exactly. I said some homophobic, sexist, fucking racist, a couple other ist terms to the border patrol.
Just say ist.
Yeah, a lot of ist, people. A lot of ist. Any ist you can think of, I probably used it against the border police.
Ists or isms? I like isms.
Isms. There you go. I used a lot of isms against the people that think they're cops, but they're not real cops, but they think they have authority.
Okay. Anyway, continue with the manga.
Oh, yeah.
We keep getting sidetracked, and this thing ain't getting any shorter.
You're right. So, I was basically done. I was just saying,
really?
Great chapter, great fight. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much for you, Keishan. You need to read the rest of it. Yeah. I was super happy with the dual-wielding aspect that you saw.
I just love that.
That is so badass.
That was a good callback to her character when we first met her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm stoked. It was great. We finally got a win for the humans. Keisha's going to go read the chapter. Of course, after this and stuff, he'll know exactly what we're all thinking, we're all talking about. So, yeah, a great chapter. And I hope to see more. Hey, Keisha, where did your chapter end for you, necessarily? Do you remember?
Let's see. Page 32 was... It was basically like that first... it reads as, "There it is, Poseidon's rain of blows that aim to envelop even the earth like a flood. He reverses the sensation in an instant." And it's like, because I think that's when Kojiro was starting to have a little gain of ground.
Yeah, he was reading his moves, and then he upped the speed sort of idea.
Yeah.
So, either way, it was fantastic. Yeah, I'm really happy because this guy, I was like, finally, because if Adam can't do it, who the fuck can? But I love that they gave him a huge backstory. They really hyped him up to be the winner.
Yeah, Yeah,
I'm still salty about it.
more fight losses for humanity, and there would have been no way to turn this around.
Exactly. So I'm still mad that there's not certain inclusions on that human list. Can't think of them right now, but we saw the whole list
Still don't get
chapters
why
ago.
they used Adam so early. He should have been like
Yeah.
one of the last humans we saw.
Yeah, I was a little... Well, you know what should have happened? He should have beaten Zeus. Zeus should have not been dead, been brought back. Counts as a win for humanity, and Adam stays in the background for the rest of the manga for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
then they beat his...
Sweet Eve titties.
Exactly. Where he belongs. Exactly. Well, I don't understand. He was given these eyes by God. Zeus is God, but Zeus is not God. So I'm sitting there like, okay, he's the Christian God, but there's another God. So I'm sitting there like, okay,
Yeah,
where's real God? Where's Christian God at this whole alliance? Because we have Odin, who's
Jehovah?
Norse God.
I think that's what he called. I think that's one of the names, isn't it?
I thought that was another. I thought that was like the Hindu one or something. Anyways, I don't know.
No, you've heard of a Jehovah's Witness, haven't you?
Yeah. But I thought that was a separate from the actual Christian Catholic.
It's just one of the branches.
Okay, one of the branches, like Lutheran. Let's shit. Anyways, point is, yeah, we have not actually seen. We've seen the Christian version of Satan, like Lucifer, Snake. So we know this universe exists, especially with Adam and Eve and stuff. But we haven't seen Jesus. Maybe we get Jesus, but
Jesus is God.
There you go.
He's
but
also
we have
the
not
Holy
seen.
Spirit. He also must have some hell of a multi-personality disorder. Is all I can say. That's what I.
One hell of one, yeah. Well, we don't have the Holy Spirit. We don't have Jesus. We don't have God yet. So there is a multitude of characters that could.
Have you ever watched Danny Phantom?
No, I didn't.
Well, there was
actually.
a character in there. His name was Clockwork. He was a deity of time, basically, and he would he would age. Like, he'd be a child 1 second, then the next time he'd be like middle age, and then he'd be an old man. What if maybe that is the Trinity? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and he just changes forms, and then that's how the fight progresses. First it's Jesus, and then he goes into Holy Spirit form, and then he becomes the Father.
It could be. It could be. I mean, it would be interesting, to be sure. The only thing that I would like to see from this is the fact that if we got Adam in that respect, and we know where all the gods are, right? And we've seen Satan and stuff. Where's Michael, the archangel, brother of Lucifer?
Well, they're not technically gods, but I guess if the Valkyries, who aren't technically gods,
there you go. We've seen lesser gods in this aspect. We've seen people like Hermes and stuff, right? We've seen.
Well, I mean, they're technically still revered as a god.
Yes, but they are still the like sons and daughters of Zeus and Poseidon and Hades. So you can't tell me that one of the first sons of the Christian god, Michael, the archangel himself, would not be among them. So I'm just wondering where he at. You know, you got a bunch of lesser known deities from the Greek and Norse mythology among them. You can't tell me that Michael.
It's like I said, maybe the mangaka doesn't view angels as deities. They're usually revered as the messengers or the warriors of heaven, not the deities that you worship in heaven.
Fair enough, but Hermes is literally the messenger of God.
Yes, but he's also the messenger God.
I mean,
things that humanity uses, and that gives you
absolutely.
And he was born of a god directly.
But if you want to look at it this way, like we just watched a Japanese swordsman who all believe in Shintoism and Buddhism fight in a coliseum filled with Egyptian, Norse, and Greek gods.
Yeah, where's Buddha?
Yeah, where the fuck's Buddha?
He's at the concession stand.
Sorry,
my Buddhist viewers. I had to do a fat joke. Sorry.
There you go. Well, I mean things. So It's fine.
Well, that was indirectly.
Yeah,
I just attacked a religion for a stupid joke.
Yeah, I only attacked fat people. What about you, Keishan? You attacked religion. So, anyways, I really hope that you get caught up really soon,
I'll
man.
probably
Because
read it tonight or tomorrow.
yeah, really good chapter, and
I really had no idea that there was a second part that had released.
yeah, it really did. I didn't know either. I just happened to read it when it was released, man. There was just a notification.
I'm glad you told me.
Chapter.
Because
Yeah,
the next chapter, or I guess I would eventually have found out.
Yeah, eventually, but you would have been all confused, like, what the hell? You know?
When did this happen?
Yeah, so, end of the day, I think we're kind of wrapping up here. So, for everyone who stuck around, thank you very much. For everyone who viewed, thank you very much. This has been Griever and Keishan Prime on Keishan Prime's channel, of course. I'm doing this a little early, as I said, because I have a bachelor party to go to next weekend here. This weekend, I should say. After next weekend, we'll be discussing all the chapters that come out the weekend after on my channel. That'll be podcast number 8, I believe, Keishan.
It should be.
Yeah, that'll be podcast number 8, assuming nothing comes up with either Keishan or me in the opportune time. It'll be over on my channel, so be sure to subscribe to Keishan Prime's channel, of course. Subscribe to my channel, which is in the description and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that's my final words. Anything to say, Keishan?
Yeah, I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and upload them to YouTube the next day in the cycle, and, yeah.
There we go. I upload, well, nothing this week, nothing last week, but I will continue uploading. I got Dr. Stone episode reviews coming out tomorrow. I got, once 7 Deadly Sins, One Piece, all that stuff. Once it's back, I'll be reviewing that, of course. You guys have seen my re-uploads of Let's Plays. Once I'm done re-uploading a lot of the old Let's Plays, I will be sure to do some new Let's Plays. I'm always interested in your input onto what game you want to play. And, of course, I'd also do gaming reactions like that. So, and I also started streaming a little bit. Like Keishan said, he streams on Twitch. I stream on YouTube a little bit, just haphazard in the middle of the night when I'm half loaded. So, okay.
Drunken
That's
Minecraft.
Oh, that would be cool.
Markiplier did it, and then it nearly killed him.
Yeah, but I won't die from alcohol poisoning. I know my.
Now he doesn't want to play Minecraft at all. He's like he's like one of the big YouTubers that doesn't play. But
it's true. It's true. Anyways, Keishan, if you want to sign us out, all right. Good here.
Keishlings and Grievelings, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us both on our social medias and whatnot. And until next time, roll out.